Mysterious stone doors glow with blue light, rumbling ominously as heavy kung-kung sounds echo through the dark, cavernous space. Is there anything else you would like me to read? The large, ancient doors, illuminated by a mystical blue glow, continue to rumble intensely with resounding kung-kung noises, hinting at immense power. The colossal doors explode outwards with a deafening kwang, sending two armored figures flying backward through the debris and rushing energy. An armored warrior is powerfully flung back by the impact, kwang, landing beside a crouched man wearing glasses as another figure falls from above. The bespectacled man stares wide-eyed in horror, exclaiming, "Holy shit, how is this possible?" Overwhelmed by the sudden, violent event. Falling through the air, the man with glasses stares up in disbelief, realizing the massive creature above is a dragon. "I can't believe I ran into a dragon." The bespectacled man and an armored companion plummet from a great height, with the text, "fell off a cliff," as a gigantic creature's arm fills the frame. Riding the massive dragon mid-air, the man recounts his bizarre journey. Got attacked by a monster squid and rode a dragon, feeling it's pretty awesome. The man is thrown onto the ground with a grunt's uok, as a monstrous horned beast radiating red energy towers over him in a fiery landscape. The man, bruised and disheveled, stares up at the monstrous roaring beast in the midst of a blazing inferno, his expression reflecting grim determination. The man's face, streaked with dirt and slight injuries, is illuminated by the fiery background, showing a moment of pain and resolve. Not too long ago, I was the most ordinary jobless man in his 30s. In a dynamic scene, the man, now in different attire, wields a glowing sword alongside another warrior, striking the monstrous beast amidst intense combat. The man's narration continues, posing a rhetorical question to the audience. How did someone that ordinary become like this, you ask? A concerned armored man shouts, "Your Highness, please get a grip." While a woman with a staff frantically asks, "Gilroshan, are you all right?" A lone figure stands in a snowy, desolate landscape, gazing towards a shimmering, rectangular portal or object in the distance. A glowing, ornate card appears, titled X-Rank Archmage, implying a powerful new ability or identity has been revealed. The man with glasses now possesses intense, glowing red eyes, radiating power, indicating a significant transformation or awakening. I want to know about this damn fate too, reflecting the protagonist's burning desire for answers about his new path. Empty soda cans litter a desk beside a laptop, visually portraying a sedentary and possibly unkempt lifestyle. From an overhead perspective, a man sits intently at his laptop, hands poised over the keyboard, surrounded by empty soda cans, absorbed in his online world. The man's eyes are glued to the screen, questioning with mild annoyance, "What's with this asshole?" reacting to something he's reading online. Someone else is going through this miserable hell too, huh? Wait, when did he even write this? Leaning back, the man ponders the notion of a second life in response to an online comment. Reality isn't a game. That'd be really nice if it was real. The man sits in his chair, earphones in, looking directly forward with a contemplative expression, still seemingly absorbed in his online activity. A second chance at life, huh? My life could be summed up in 3 sentences. The man's bleak past is summarized. Raised in an orphanage, working in a factory after leaving, and now jobless at 30, studying for an exam. The man sits at his computer, confessing, "The only joy in my bleak life is this game," highlighting his escape from reality. The man, a seasoned veteran of God-forsaken world, is shown interacting with game cards and characters, indicating his deep knowledge of the game's strategies. With a weary expression, the man admits his life's only possessions after 30 years are this one-room apartment and this game. Gazing at his messy desk, the man laments, "If only there were a strategy guide for life. Would things have been different for me then?" The man smiles, typing, musing about another user who looks like he's got nothing better to do and decides to initiate a chat. Close up on the man's hands typing rapidly on the laptop keyboard, indicated by the sound effect da-da-dak, showing his active engagement. JJAMPPONGTANGERINE declares, Let's do this second life then, while GODDOG warns, you sure about this? It won't be easy. The man considers ignoring GODDOG's dramatic whisper, then, after a brief pause, definitively presses the Enter key on his keyboard. Anything's better than what I have now, revealing a profound sense of desperation. The man reacts with disappointment, thinking, what? That's it? No drama, no feels? Expecting a more profound response from the game. The man's expression shifts to shock and pain as his body begins to distort with a chilling osa sound, realizing something drastic is happening. A dramatic close-up on the man's eye reveals a determined glint with a stark message. This time, just try to survive. The man screams in a flash of light, his body glowing and distorting, as his room is engulfed in mystical energy. The computer mouse dramatically falls off the desk, symbolizing the abrupt end of his virtual world and the start of a new reality. The man, disoriented and confused, wonders, what's going on now? What's on my face? His new reality disorienting. Panic sets in as the man realizes he's gagged and tied, questioning if he's been kidnapped, betrayed, or worse, MMPH. Could it be for my organs? The man, identified as a prince, is seen bound and gagged amidst ancient ruins, surrounded by several cloaked, ominous figures. A robed figure reveals the bound man's identity. Third Prince of the Vault Magic Empire, Gilroshan Elro de Valt. The leading robed figure commands his subordinates to remove his gag, preparing to interrogate the captured prince amidst the ancient ruins. Is there anything else I can help you with? The robed figure commands the tied Gilroshan to raise your head, open your eyes and look at me, asserting dominance. Gilroshan, gag removed, looks up with wide, shocked eyes, recognizing the robed man and thinking, what? This line. Gilroshan confirms his recognition, thinking to himself, yeah, the face matches. I'm sure of IT, as he stares at the hooded figure. Gilroshan realizes he's in the third Prince assassination event from his game Godforsaken World, shocked by the sudden, real-world plot development. The man thinks this intense situation feels like a dream and oddly familiar, questioning if he's experienced anything like it before. The robed figure threatens the third prince, warning him not to try anything, while Gilroshan questions if this is a fan's prank. Is there anything else I can read back for you? The robed figure announces Gilroshan's execution by the Republic, stating his head will be sent to his father, intensifying the dire situation. Gilroshan is startled, exclaiming, huh? And thinking it's a misunderstanding, as a menacing sword is drawn in the foreground. The robed figure swings his sword at Gilroshan, asking if he was told not to be foolish, as Gilroshan braces for impact. Blood splatters from Gilroshan's neck as he reacts in shock, realizing the sword strike was real and impactful, exclaiming, blood! The executioner coldly states that even as a scoundrel, Gilroshan's imperial blood means the emperor won't dismiss his decapitated body. Gilroshan, with blood on his neck, realizes this isn't a prank but real, horrified that he's the, quote, trash-tier third prince Gilroshan. A character profile identifies the man as Gilroshan Elro de Valt, the third prince of the Vault Magic Empire, also known as the Pig Prince. Gilroshan is distraught, realizing he's a bottom-tier NPC with no lines, believing this assassination is the end of his miserable story. Gilroshan pauses, looking at the masked figure, and asks, wait, if I'm an NPC, then who's the player? Deeply confused. The hooded figure approaches Gilroshan, asking if he has any last words, third prince, signaling the immediate continuation of the execution. The hooded figure, with a grim expression, raises his sword to strike, while Gilroshan stares back in shocked horror, anticipating the blow. Gilroshan frantically pleads that he isn't the third prince, desperately trying to explain his confusion about the situation. The hooded figures assert Gilroshan's glowing red eyes prove he's the third prince, declaring there's no denying or escaping his fate. Gilroshan despairs, questioning the reality and cruelty of being a background extra about to be executed, feeling it's a cruel joke. The executioner claims it's, quote, nothing personal, promising a quick, painless death, then swings his sword down towards Gilroshan. Gilroshan desperately thinks he can't die like this, and has something I absolutely have to accomplish as the sword descends. Gilroshan recalls his past as a blurred black and white scene, but questions, Bati, what was it again, forgetting his vital purpose. Gilroshan wonders why he feels no pain, and why the executioner stopped, as the grim scene inexplicably shifts to grayscale. Gilroshan stares in bewildered shock, asking, what the hell is going on? As the executioner's sword remains inexplicably frozen. Gilroshan looks up as a glowing blue message appears before him, dramatically declaring, the game has begun. A glowing blue message confirms the player has selected Gilroshan Elro de Valt, the Vault Empire character, solidifying his new identity. Gilroshan smiles in relief, exclaiming, I'm saved! Realizing he can survive and navigate this new reality as a player. A majestic city and flying dragon are seen as Gilroshan confidently declares, and I'm a master of that game, hinting at future success. Gilroshan smirks confidently, internally declaring himself a walking strategy guide for the game, implying his extensive knowledge will aid him. Starting rewards of the player have been granted. 2 blue system messages display, informing Gilroshan that he has received 3 stat points and 2 skill points. A blue quest notification appears, Escape Crisis. Gilroshan contemplates using his newly acquired stat and skill points to survive. Gilroshan understands the new quest's obvious objective is simply to survive, recognizing the immediate stakes of his situation. Gilroshan's tied hands are visible as he realizes everything has paused, as if he hit a game's, quote, pause button. Gilroshan realizes he's given game-like time to make choices, and will soon return to the paused moment, dealing with points later. Is there anything else you would like me to read? Blue energy swirls around a fate card message, emphasizing that choosing the correct card determines whether he lives or dies. A clear title card appears prominently on a white background, introducing the concept of fate cards within the game. Fate cards are defined as class-defining, granting stats and storylines. 3 random cards are dealt from 1024. 1 can be absorbed, and they shuffle. Gilroshan reflects that while skill is needed to choose, the cards dealt are pure luck, with no reshuffles until level 10. Gilroshan looks up, anticipating the revealed cards, thinking, let's see what Lady Luck says, hoping for favorable choices. A powerful flash of blue light and crackling energy signify the manifestation of the fate cards before Gilroshan. Gilroshan observes the 3 glowing rectangular cards, understanding that time will resume its flow once he makes his crucial choice. Gilroshan feels a chilling sensation, realizing his choice determines if he's instantly beheaded when the game resumes, emphasizing the high stakes. Gilroshan sighs, then fixes his gaze on the 3 glowing cards suspended before him, ready to examine his fate options. Gilroshan looks at his glowing tied hands, expressing curiosity despite the grim situation, thinking he, quote, can't help it about his excitement. Gilroshan, with glowing red eyes, smiles unsettlingly, questioning if the fate cards will lead him to glory or a cliff edge. The first shuffle rule is revealed. 1 card is always a close combat type for reliable play, and the average rank is B. The first shuffle rule ensures the average rank of the 3 dealt cards is B, with various ranked cards shown. Gilroshan expresses his modest desire for a simple A-rank tank card, questioning if his request is too crazy given the circumstances. Gilroshan extends his finger to interact with a glowing projection, poised to select a fate card from the ethereal display. An F-rank Slave Gladiator fate card appears, confirmed by a system message, shocking Gilroshan with its low rank. Story missing for image 50. Gilroshan reacts in shock, realizing another card, Slave Gladiator, is also low rank, making him question if it's real. A D-rank fate card, third-rate theater actor, has appeared, adding another seemingly weak choice for Gilroshan's survival. Gilroshan looks at the 3 glowing fate cards, 2 low-ranked, while the masked executioner hovers nearby in the paused scene. Gilroshan reacts in wide-eyed disbelief, exclaiming, "What?" in shock at the seemingly terrible fate cards presented to him. Gilroshan recalls the rule that the first draw's average rank is B, wondering if the third card could be an S rank, given the other low ranks. Gilroshan gazes at the last glowing card, wondering with rising hope if it could be an S rank, despite the previous low draws. The third card glows intensely with a powerful light and cracking energy, signaling its imminent reveal to Gilroshan. A vibrant, explosive burst of colorful energy emanates from the third card, hinting at its powerful or unique nature upon its reveal. Gilroshan stares at the 3 revealed fate cards. 2 are low rank, while the third is dramatically glowing with rainbow colors. Gilroshan's red eyes widen in astonishment, reflecting the dramatic reveal of the third card as he processes its implications. Gilroshan exclaims, "EX!" in disbelief, looking up at the newly revealed rainbow-colored card, indicating its exceptionally high rank. Gilroshan's hands are shown, with the glowing EX rank card materializing in his tight grasp, emphasizing its presence and his surprise. Gilroshan exclaims in disbelief, realizing the EX rank card he drew is an Archmage, further compounding his shock. The EX rank Archmage Fate card is fully revealed, showcasing a powerful mage, leaving Gilroshan stunned and muttering, "Holy shit!" OMY. Gilroshan's eyes are wide open, filled with utter shock and disbelief at drawing an incredibly rare EX rank Archmage card. Gilroshan looks down with a bewildered expression, muttering, "Wait, what the hell?" grappling with the unexpected power. Gilroshan stares at the EX rank Archmage card, still processing its appearance amidst the lower ranked options and the paused scene. Gilroshan internally notes that the Archmage card is the ultimate range DPS, emphasizing its power within the game's mechanics. Gilroshan questions the impossibility of an EX rank Archmage card appearing at the very beginning of the game's fateful draw. Is there anything else you would like me to read? Gilroshan speculates the Archmage card's appearance might be due to him being an NPC instead of a player character, deeming it possible. Gilroshan confirms that his current body belongs to an NPC named Gilroshan Vault, indicating his core identity within the game. Gilroshan explains that as an NPC, he has a background and bloodline, unlike custom player characters, and the Vault family produces talented mages. Gilroshan shifts his focus, reminding himself that it's time to choose one of the fate cards to survive the immediate crisis. Gilroshan and the Hooded Executioner remain frozen, with the 3 fate cards, including the EX rank, suspended between them, awaiting choice. Gilroshan expresses the problem isn't the Archmage card's strength, but its practicality. He details how it gives skills, equipment, and a storyline. Gilroshan reveals the Archmage's powerful field domination skill only works with magic or magic-imbued weapons, limiting his immediate use. Gilroshan explains that magic skills require time to draw mana and materialize spells, a critical drawback in his immediate execution scenario. Gilroshan feels it's insane to give up such a powerful EX rank Archmage card, despite its unsuitability for his current predicament. Gilroshan admits that if he weren't a seasoned player, he would have chosen Archmage and died, acknowledging the finality of death in this world. Gilroshan reflects on the cruel irony of being put into an NPC's body, given an Archmage card, and still facing immediate death. Gilroshan, with a determined gaze, resolves to survive the dire situation despite the seemingly unfair setup. Gilroshan, with ropes binding his hands, reaches out a glowing finger, determined to select a fate card for survival. A system message confirms the selection of the F-rank Slave Gladiator card, asking for confirmation from Gilroshan. Gilroshan smirks, finding it interesting and cuckoo that he's forced to discard an EX rank card for a trash rank one to survive. Gilroshan bids farewell to the Archmage card, ready to proceed with his F rank choice, knowing it's necessary for survival. Gilroshan's eyes show a desperate plea, his expression grimacing slightly as he makes the difficult choice for his immediate survival. Gilroshan's lips are tightly pursed, indicating his determination and the gravity of his choice, without explicit dialogue. Ding! A system message confirms the F-rank Slave Gladiator card is equipped, granting 3 unique skills. Gilroshan angrily asks if the system is mocking him, asserting he's had his fair share of luck, indicating his frustration. Gilroshan acknowledges that in games he'd re-roll a junk character, but he has no such option now, emphasizing his predicament. Gilroshan recalls that his character, the Third Prince, died bleeding out at this exact spot in the original game. Gilroshan's face shows fierce determination, proclaiming that now that he's in this body, he will survive. Gilroshan's thoughts echo, "We're going to survive," reinforcing his strong resolve to overcome the impossible situation. Gilroshan quickly wonders how to use the newly acquired skills, realizing he needs to figure it out fast as the game resumes. Game resuming, Gilroshan exclaims, "Wait!" as the hooded executioner's sword descends, now unpaused and moving quickly toward him. Gilroshan emits a coo as he collapses forward, seemingly struck by the executioner, who recoils slightly in surprise. The hooded commander instructs his team to return, but another hooded figure interrupts, stating the third prince isn't dead. The second hooded figure confirms Gilroshan isn't dead, shocking the commander who thought his head was struck. Okay, I will read the text back to you. Story missing for image 50. Gilroshan collapses, emitting Kug and Erg after being struck, activating his F-rank skill to survive the fatal blow from the executioner's sword. Two hooded figures react in shock, exclaiming, "What? How is this possible?" as the third prince, Gilroshan, miraculously survives the executioner's strike. Gilroshan internally acknowledges, figuring out the skill but grimaces, muttering, "But damn it, that felt awful," after activating his survival ability. Skill used successfully cannot be used again for 24 hours. The system lists Gilroshan's 3 F-rank slave gladiator skills: preference for masochism, preference for sadism, and preference for restraint. Preference for masochism, regen from non-lethal damage, and preference for sadism, flashy minor damage move. Is there anything else you would like me to read back to you? Gilroshan's thought reveals the main reason for picking the trash rank F-rank card over the EX rank, a crucial skill for immediate survival. The preference for restraint skill is revealed. Ignore 1 instance of fatal damage when bound with a 24-hour cooldown. Gilroshan internally criticizes the F-rank skill's impracticality. A hooded commander questions how the third prince survived the execution. Commander Bamio shouts "Imprudence" at Gilroshan, who astonishingly retaliates by calling him Bamio Demark. A masked hooded figure, the commander, is shown in a close-up, revealing piercing light blue eyes and an intimidating presence. Is there anything else you would like me to read? The masked commander observes Gilroshan, still on his knees, surrounded by the other hooded figures in the misty setting. Gilroshan looks up at the surprised hooded figures, who react with curiosity and unease at his unexpected survival. The commander asks if Gilroshan has lost his mind and how he knows his name. Gilroshan rises, angrily calling him an insolent fool. Gilroshan, tied, defiantly points, yelling, "It is I, your master," and asks if they recognize their master dwelling in his body, shocking them. Gilroshan declares loudly, "I am the god of vengeance, Aeolum," in an attempt to deceive his captors. 2 hooded figures react with visible confusion, a question mark appearing above their heads at Gilroshan's outrageous claim. An explanation reveals these hooded men are Vengeance Priest Corps from the Aeolum High Church, followers of the god of vengeance and assassins. The Aeolum High Church is described as a major faction of the Revolutionary Army, seeking to overthrow the empire, and they kidnapped the third prince. Gilroshan realizes he must act like he just drew the third-rate theater actor card to survive this impossible situation. Gilroshan, embodying Aeolum's wrath, dramatically declares, "It is I, Aeolum. I have descended into this body, you fools," to the assassins. Gilroshan dramatically demands, "Your god is here. Release me this instant," lifting his leg, as the masked figures recoil in surprise. The commander questions if he's Aeolum's vessel. Gilroshan yells, "Impudicity," shoving him, demanding, "Have you lost your mind?" Gilroshan's face contorts in rage, red eyes wide, as he shouts, "You bastards dare raise your hands at me?" 2 masked figures appear unsure, as Gilroshan inwardly questions, "Wait, did I go overboard?" regarding his theatrical performance. Gilroshan steals his resolve, asserting this is what Aeolum would do, as the game's lore on the 12 meddling gods is introduced. Eolem, the god of vengeance. Eolem, the god of vengeance, is depicted as a powerful, horned deity thriving on war, conflict, strife, and chaos. Eolem's frequent appearances to followers are noted, a fact Gilroshan sees as advantageous for his current charade. The commander concedes, "Very well. I understand, great Eolem," but still seems hesitant. The commander, looking pensive, requests Eolem provide a sign of faith to your foolish believers. Gilroshan furiously scolds them for needing faith, exposing their gold-plated altar statue, demanding immediate release. The commander is shocked as Gilroshan exposes the gold-plated statue, furiously demanding if they have a death wish. Gilroshan yells, "Release me this instant!" while tied. A subordinate hesitantly commands, "Release him." Two hooded figures apologize profusely. "We're so sorry, Lord Eolem." Gilroshan internally confirms most have fallen for his act. Gilroshan smirks, noting the success of his act given the third prince's reputation, but still finds Bamilo suspicious. Bamilo Demark is identified as the High Archpriest of the Eolem High Church and leader of the Vengeance Priest Corps. Bamilo Demark is revealed as the orchestrator of the third prince assassination incident within the Revolutionary Army. Gilroshan, upside down, watches Bamilo, who apologizes, quote, "Lord Eolem, forgive me for failing to recognize you," close quote. Gilroshan knows he's strategizing. Gilroshan internally decides to observe for now. Bamilo's continued focus on the gold-plated statue shows his cunning. Gilroshan points dramatically, commanding the hooded figures, "What are you doing?" "On your knees." All the hooded figures, including Bamilo, reluctantly kneel before Gilroshan, humbly begging, "Please forgive us. To behold you is an honor we do not deserve." Is that correct? Bamilo questions why Eolem descended personally. Gilroshan notes Bamilo's sharp distrust and wonders about the second suspicious figure. Gilroshan plans a, quote, "more secure failsafe." The mysterious second figure shockingly declares Gilroshan their personally chosen apostle. Bamilo reacts with a stunned, "Pardon?" while Gilroshan is equally bewildered by the unexpected intervention. "Prince Gilroshan will someday join our revolutionary army, got it?" "Understood. We shall spare the third prince and return as per your will." Gilroshan realizes they'll confirm his lie and return. He suspects another traitor, sensing their continued confidence in killing him. Gilroshan believes someone behind the scenes of this conspiracy is involved, indicating a deeper, hidden plot. Gilroshan internally realizes too many people want him dead, viewing the Empire as a closed cage with no escape, emphasizing his precarious situation and vulnerability. Gilroshan, disguised as Eolem, tells a kneeling hooded figure that the third prince will not return to the palace, stressing this must be kept a secret from others. The mysterious hooded figure declares Gilroshan will go to Orax to prepare to become an apostle, startling another hooded figure who questions the unexpected decision. Bamilo intensely orders his subordinates to not just protect, but treat Gilroshan with the utmost care while en route to Orax, revealing his urgent new priority. Orax is the largest city in the West and the capital of the Revolutionary Army, setting the stage for Gilroshan's next destination. Gilroshan realizes Orax, enemy territory to the Empire, will be safer for him, as his knowledge of future events provides an advantage there. Gilroshan smirks, planning to leverage his knowledge in Orax to gain advantages and cheat his way through, without the Archmage card, displaying his cunning. Gilroshan impatiently stands over the kneeling hooded figures, asserting his dominance and urging them to move quickly, showcasing his Eolem persona. Gilroshan's determined smirk reveals his resolve to transform his current trash rank character into an overpowered one, hinting at his ambitious plans. Gilroshan internally declares his intention to scam everything in sight, reinforcing his cunning and opportunistic approach to survival and growth. This panel serves as an interlude, marking the beginning of the third episode, suggesting a transition in the narrative's progression and setting. The scene shifts to a peaceful night setting, with a crackling campfire burning in a forest, indicating the group has set up camp during their journey. A hooded figure offers Gilroshan a skewer of grilled meat and vegetables, showing their respectful attentiveness towards their supposed new deity. Multiple hooded figures eagerly compete to offer Gilroshan grilled food and revolutionary booze, showcasing their zealous devotion and attempts to please him. Gilroshan angrily rejects the excessive food offerings from the old men, reiterating his efforts to lose weight and expressing his extreme frustration with their persistent attempts. The hooded figures explain their zealous respect stems from Lord Eolim's instructions, fearing his wrath if they fail, leaving one wondering if they overshared. Gilroshan internally mocks the hooded figures' innocent eyes, humorously questioning if they are the vengeful priesthood or the vengeful boy band, despite being assassins. Gilroshan struggles with temptation, admitting he wants to eat but is holding back, while a hooded figure comically insists one bite won't cause weight gain. A hooded figure lies, praising Gilroshan's perfect figure and urging him to eat without worry, while Gilroshan inwardly curses the torture of his weight loss. Bamio chastises his subordinates for neglecting perimeter security, while Gilroshan internally notes his sharp leadership, confirming his identity as the High Priest. Bamio furiously scolds his relaxed subordinates for forgetting they are still in Imperial territory, sharply ordering them to get up and be vigilant. Gilroshan tries to mitigate Bamio's anger, explaining the subordinates are just deeply faithful, to which Bamio replies he understands, maintaining his facade. Bamio teases Gilroshan about only having bird meat, then admits it was for himself, prompting Gilroshan to call him the worst in their subtle power dynamic. Bamilo drops a bone into the fire, acknowledging Gilroshan's significant weight loss, showing his careful observation of the third prince's physical state. A visual comparison highlights Gilroshan's dramatic weight loss in 3 days, with his internal monologue expressing surprise, even humorously questioning if the writer changed. Bamio, an assassin raised in the church, admits he's never seen anyone as tenacious as Gilroshan, acknowledging the prince's unexpected resilience and determination. Bamio looks pensive, reflecting on his initial perceptions, hinting at his evolving understanding and growing respect for Gilroshan's unexpected nature. Gilroshan recalls his initial concern about traversing Imperial territory in his weak state, acknowledging even he knew his condition was far from normal. Gilroshan suddenly collapses onto the ground, indicating extreme fatigue and physical weakness during their journey, unable to sustain his pace. Gilroshan internally exclaims in frustration, questioning the nature of his incredibly weak body, highlighting his struggle with its current state. Gilroshan struggles to rise, revealing his character stats, level 0, pig prince, and critically low stamina 9, explaining his current physical incapacitation. Gilroshan is shocked to discover his stamina is a single digit, emphasizing the dire state of his physical condition and its severe impact. Gilroshan grimly realizes his stamina of 9 means he's practically a corpse, highlighting the severe physical challenge he faces and his weak state. Gilroshan, tied and resolute, internally declares his urgent need to increase his stamina and lose weight, setting clear goals for his survival. Hooded figures express serious concern over Gilroshan's rapid exhaustion, realizing their own danger, yet hesitate to abandon him due to Lord Eolim's direct instructions. Gilroshan internally refuses potions, not wanting to burden the priesthood or rely on them for fights, emphasizing his reluctance to be a liability. Gilroshan hits his head on the ground, expressing frustration that this feeling truly sucks, implying self-harm to overcome his physical limitations or activate a skill. 2 hooded figures look confused and surprised, witnessing Gilroshan's bizarre actions, indicating their bewilderment at his unusual training methods. Gilroshan bends over, grunting with effort, visually depicting his intense physical exertion as he continues his self-imposed training. Gilroshan, bleeding but resolute, defiantly rejects potions and commands, "Let's go," demonstrating his fierce determination to overcome his weakness without aid. Bamilo intensely observes Gilroshan, his expression pensive and scrutinizing, suggesting he is carefully assessing the third prince's surprising resilience and behavior. A system message confirms the activation of the taste for masochism skill, indicating its effects will apply for a duration of 30 seconds. Gilroshan activates Taste for Masochism, a skill that significantly boosts mental and physical recovery from non-critical, isolated damage with a 15-minute cooldown. Gilroshan's strained, blood-streaked eye highlights the physical toll of his self-inflicted damage, necessary for activating his survival skill. Gilroshan internally resolves to repeatedly bash his head if he becomes a burden, showcasing his extreme, self-sacrificing determination to not be a liability. Gilroshan repeatedly smashes his head against the ground with grunts, a desperate act that visibly shocks the observing hooded figures, demonstrating his painful resolve. An observer expresses disbelief, realizing that Gilroshan, the prodigal third prince, is surprisingly incredibly tough, challenging their previous perception of him. A Deing system message confirms Gilroshan's stamina has significantly improved to 37 as a direct result of his harsh, self-inflicted training. Do you want me to read anything else? Gilroshan looks determined, acknowledging his stamina improvement is just the beginning, and he still has a long way to go, cementing his resolute mindset. A hooded figure informs Gilroshan they will reach a teleport gate tomorrow to return to Orax. However, they admit the unexpected development of him becoming Lord Eolim's apostle poses a problem as they were sent to kill him. Did I read that back correctly? Gilroshan confidently states he knows there's an accomplice inside and encourages them to speak freely. Bamil reacts with a stern, scrutinizing gaze to Gilroshan's unexpected insight. A hooded figure admits they failed to leave a corpse, and the Empire now suspects their cooperation is problematic. Bamil states their identity is known, predicting blocked escape routes, but highlights the vengeful priesthood's elite status. Bamil realizes breaking through alone is tough, and a two-sided attack would be difficult, so they must increase their pace. Bamil asks a surprised Gilroshan if he knows the identity of the accomplice. Gilroshan confidently confirms his knowledge, replying simply, "I do." Gilroshan reveals the accomplice is Imperial Minister Zyric Moss, challenging their reaction. Bamil is shocked by Gilroshan's unexpected knowledge, questioning his reasoning. Gilroshan internally notes Bamil is testing him, planning to use his game knowledge of Zyric Moss to gain control. Gilroshan internally analyzes Zyric Moss's Kanese roots, connecting them to recent history and potential disloyalty. Gilroshan realizes Zyric Moss's Kanese origins suggest a connection to the Revolutionary Army, suddenly grasping the full implication. Gilroshan explains Zyric's daughter married a border noble, creating links to a region with constant skirmishes, despite a truce. Gilroshan concludes Zyric's son-in-law is either a sworn enemy or secretly colluding with the Revolutionary Army. Gilroshan connects Zyric's daughter's marriage to a Revolutionary Army link and targets the Church of Eolim. Gilroshan excitedly deduces Zyric's son-in-law might be an Eolim priest, finding the deduction exhilarating. Bamil looks on, visibly impressed and surprised by Gilroshan's profound insight. Bamil is completely reassessing Gilroshan's capabilities, while Gilroshan internally notes he's assessing his, quote, shell. Gilroshan internally recognizes his unexpected survival has significantly altered the entire game situation. Gilroshan grimly realizes Minister Zyric will soon deploy his most formidable asset. Gilroshan reveals the powerful asset is Marquis Elronroyd, a formidable figure. Gilroshan warns they must reach the gate quickly to avoid being trapped between two forces. Gilroshan declares he must find a new, unprecedented path as Gilroshan, leveraging his unique knowledge. Bamil tries to recall Eolim's command, but Gilroshan firmly insists they wait for a moment. Gilroshan confirms he's waiting for the pursuing Bear and Nightingale, shocking Bamil. A new hooded figure, Urgal, confronts Gilroshan, questioning if he's waiting for his personal guards. Gilroshan internally wonders about Urgal's identity. Urgal, angered by Gilroshan's silence, threatens to force an answer from him. Urgal menacingly draws his sword, emphasizing his aggressive demands. Urgal, with sword drawn, sternly demands Gilroshan answer him, stating his patience is short. Gilroshan defiantly scoffs, then mockingly asks Urgal's identity before answering his questions. Gilroshan refuses to answer Urgal, asserting he won't speak to someone whose identity he doesn't know. Gilroshan mocks Urgel's impatience, hinting at Bamio's authority, while internally noting Urgel's simple-mindedness. Gilroshan, with a subtle smirk, agrees to reveal two key things to Urgel. Gilroshan reveals his first secret. He has no intention of returning to the Imperial Palace. Gilroshan states his second secret. He is indeed waiting for Bear and Nightingale, shocking Urgel. Gilroshan defiantly refuses to explain further, stating he won't explain himself to punks like Urgel. Urgel lunges in fury, but Gilroshan casually blocks him, noting a flower scent suggesting an unseen skill. Bamilo intervenes, stopping the confused Urgel from attacking Gilroshan after his unexpected move. Bamilo formally introduces the hooded figure, Urgel, as a valuable comrade in the revolutionary cause. Gilroshan internally dismisses Urgel, realizing he is merely a mercenary. Gilroshan realizes Urgel is not a known NPC, speculating he might also be from the real world, like himself. Urgel, now calm, demands to know why Gilroshan insists on waiting for the Bear and Nightingale. Okay, here is the text you provided. A system note defines Bear as Calcillion, 6-star knight, and Nightingale as Tarvayan Sui, 7-star witch. Urgel impatiently demands Gilroshan explain their dangerous wait for the pursuers by the campfire. A hooded subordinate urges Bamilo to kill Gilroshan, stating they lack time, startling the prince. Gilroshan reveals Marquise Elron Reut is the Special Knights commander, pressing Bamilo and Urgel for recognition. Bamilo confirms he knows Marquise Elron Reut as one of the Empire's 3 greatest swordmasters, but shows concern. Gilroshan asks Bamilo if he can defeat Marquis Elron Reut, observing Bamilo's troubled silence. Story missing for image 50. Gilroshan thinks Marquise Elron Reut, a super high-level 6-star NPC, will kill them all if they go straight to the gate alone. Gilroshan acknowledges Elron Reut is a monster, then surprisingly states challenging him isn't a bad choice, puzzling his companions. Bamilo acknowledges Gilroshan's warning, realizing that the Empire's dagger Elron Reut is right up ahead. Urgel, now calm, agrees with Gilroshan that going forward would be no different from walking into death. Gilroshan is surprised by Urgel's unexpected acceptance, noting he thought Urgel would start shouting and demanding proof. Gilroshan's internal monologue concludes that Urgel is not completely brainless given his rational acceptance of the situation. Bamilo questions Gilroshan, stating that even with the Bear and Nightingale aiding them, breaking through seems hopeless. Gilroshan internally observes that Anne's quietness suggests she knows something important about the current situation. Gilroshan looks thoughtfully at Urgel, contemplating the situation after realizing Anne's possible secret knowledge, setting up his next move. Do you want me to read anything else for you? Gilroshan confidently asserts there is a way, promising to lead them safely through the gate into Orax if they follow his lead. Gilroshan addresses Bamilo as High Priest, and proposes they make 2 promises before he reveals his full plan. Gilroshan demands a secret oath from Bamilo, insisting he swear to secrecy in the name of the god Aeolum. Bamilo pauses, considering Gilroshan's unusual demand for an Aeolum oath of secrecy before giving his reply. Bamilo agrees to Gilroshan's demand, performing a pinky swear and swearing an oath in the name of Aeolum. Bamilo concludes his oath, promising to take what the third prince is about to say, quote, to the grave. Gilroshan sets his second condition. If they make it safely into Orax, he wants Bamilo to get him one specific item. Bamilo, surprised, asks Gilroshan what kind of item he wants, while Gilroshan smiles mysteriously in response. Gilroshan reveals he wants a specific pair of glasses only obtainable in Orax, smiling mysteriously at Bamilo. Gilroshan prepares to reveal the truth about the bear, Carcillion, as Bamilo listens intently. Karsloit, the Knight of Dawn, is introduced as a former Empire Knight who defected to lead the True Light Order. The truth is revealed. Carcillion's real name is Karsloit, hinting at his connection to Elron Reut. Bamilo reacts with shock, questioning if Karsloit is Marquise Elron Reut's illegitimate child after the revelation. Gilroshan confirms Kars is Elron Reut's illegitimate child, a secret only Elrond knows, unknown even to Kars. Gilroshan realizes Urgal knows this secret, deducing he might be from the same real world and aware of the game's hidden lore. Urgal internally wonders how much Gilroshan knows about this game, visibly shocked by the profound revelations. A large explosion rocks the landscape, and a voice shouts, "Your Highness!" indicating a new, urgent arrival. Karsilian, the bear, and Tarvan Sui, the nightingale, appear, looking for Your Highness amidst the distant explosions. Karsilian and Tarvan Sui are depicted engaging in combat with the hooded figures, swords clashing. Karsilian angrily confronts the hooded figures, demanding to know how they dared to kidnap the prince. Karsilian sternly warns the hooded figures that it is not too late to release the prince and fall back. Two hooded figures internally admit they technically kidnapped the prince, but claim he is now following them willingly. Gilroshan begins to run, showing a sudden and urgent need to escape the unfolding confrontation. Gilroshan internally notes cars arrived faster than expected from the markings, increasing the urgency of their escape. Gilroshan realizes if Tarvan Sui joins the fight, the priest will go all in, ready to die, making escape harder. We have to move now. Tarvan Sui appears surrounded by magical energy, furiously demanding to know where Gilroshan has been taken. Enraged, Tarvan Sui is enveloped in flames, threatening to reduce the captors to ashes and find her student herself. Two hooded figures observe the intense magical confrontation unfolding around their campfire. One, Urgal, with a stern gaze. A masked figure's eyes intensely glare, showing resolve or anger amidst the raging battle and magical assault. Tarvan Sui unleashes a fiery magical attack, with Karsilian ready for combat as the hooded figures brace. Gilroshan urgently shouts, "Master!" to Tarvan Sui, expressing concern and attempting to intervene in the escalating conflict. Gilroshan, restrained by a hooded figure, urgently pleads with Tarvan Sui for a moment to explain the situation. Tarvan Sui and Karsilian confront the hooded figures, with Gilroshan standing between them as he gestures. Gilroshan looks tense and determined, standing between the hooded figures facing the incoming Kars and Tarvan. Karsilian and Tarvan Sui look on with confused expressions, clearly puzzled by Gilroshan's unexpected presence. Gilroshan, with a subtle smirk, confirms his identity to the pursuing pair, suggesting he is indeed the prince they seek. Karsilian angrily confronts the hooded figures, demanding what they did to make the prince look like a shadow of himself. Two hooded figures internally respond that they technically didn't do anything to the prince, as he now follows willingly. Gilroshan turns to Karsilian, asking for a chance to explain, and stating clearly that he was not kidnapped. Karsilian and Tarvan Sui look surprised and confused by Gilroshan's assertion that he was not kidnapped. Kars is confused by Gilroshan's unexpected presence, while Tarvan Sui, still engulfed in flames, prepares to unleash her fury. Tarvan Sui's mouth is twisted in a furious snarl, shouting, "Yeah, you little shit," at Galwarn for his deception. Tarvan Sui, furious, yells at Gilroshan for her wasted effort, threatening to annihilate the rebel scumbags for his supposed kidnapping. Tarvan Sui angrily summons Gilroshan and questions his behavior, leading him to internally ponder if she's a thug or a witch. The character profile introduces Tarvan Sui, the Crimson Shadow, as a powerful witch from the Five Colored Spires, despite rumors of her age. The witches of Tarvan Sui's lineage inherit magic, memories, and even appearance through a sacred one-on-one ritual to preserve their legacy. This lineage intentionally passes down appearance through rituals, ensuring the preservation of their inherent fear and mystique. Kars calmly reassures an enraged Tarvan Sui, advising her to settle down and listen, as the situation doesn't appear dangerous. Tarvan Sui, visibly flustered and blushing, meekly agrees to Kars's suggestion, her anger seemingly subdued by his presence. Gilroshan observes Tarvan Sui's sudden, blushing agreement with Kars, clearly annoyed and perplexed by her abrupt change. Gilroshan stands confidently with the hooded figures, declaring to Kars and Tarvan Sui that he is heading to Orax. Kars furiously calls Gilroshan mad for entering enemy territory, Orax, but Gilroshan calmly responds that he knows. Gilroshan admits to knowing everything and appearing pathetic, yet insists his chosen path is not an act of reckless stupidity. Gilroshan firmly declares his decision is his own will, the sole path for his survival, and his chosen fate. Gilroshan, with glowing red eyes, commands Kars and Tarvain not to stop him, asserting it as an order from their prince. Gilroshan humbly requests Tarvain Sui's forgiveness, referring to himself as her unworthy disciple. Kars, Tarvan, Gilroshan, and the hooded figures stand facing each other, the tension of their confrontation palpable. Gilroshan explains to Tarvan Sui that he never abandoned magic, suggesting his past behavior was a facade. Gilroshan thanks Tarvain for her guidance, stating the time isn't right yet, but he will achieve multicolored light. Tarvan Sui looks surprised, directly questioning Gilroshan if he genuinely hasn't given up on magic. Tarvan Sui internally observes Gilroshan's confident new gaze, noting his previous inability to make eye contact. Tarvan Sui internally reflects on Gilroshan's assertion that he will acquire the multicolored light through her teachings. A lore explanation states that great magic is mysterious and brilliantly shines, hinting at its profound nature. Tarvan Sui internally wonders how Gilroshan knows an ancient saying about magic from her tower, which is rarely known. Tarvan Sui realizes Gilroshan secretly yearned for magic, despite pretending disinterest due to perceived lack of talent. Tarvan Sui internally credits Gilroshan for flawlessly feigning idiocy while within the palace. Tarvan Sui, as Gilroshan's master, blames herself for not noticing his secret passion for magic earlier. Tarvan Sui internally reflects, questioning what she has been doing over the past 5 years. Tarvan Sui, with a slight smile, calmly states, "Fine," indicating her acceptance of Gilroshan's path. Gilroshan is surprised by Tarvan Sui's casual acceptance as she begins explaining her duty to trust him. Tarvan Sui asserts her duty as a teacher to trust Gilroshan, hoping he will make her the master of the five-colored tower. Tarvan Sui internally acknowledges Gilroshan knows his path, but realizes Sir Karsilian is the primary problem. Tarvan Sui internally identifies Karsilian as a principled man who will never compromise on returning the prince to the palace. Tarvan Sui anticipates Kars will forcibly return Gilroshan, which Kars' tearful "W.A." confirms. Kars cries tears of emotion, exclaiming, "Our Highness said such words! Ugh!" overwhelmed by Gilroshan's declaration. Kars reacts with a bewildered "EH" as he processes Gilroshan's profound and unexpected words. Kars reveals his long-held belief that Gilroshan would one day establish a great cause. Kars kneels, tearfully pledging to follow Gilroshan's will, path, and destiny as his loyal sword. Kars fiercely vows that anyone who obstructs Gilroshan's path will be shattered by his sword. Karsilian and Tarvan Sui have joined the party as Kars weeps emotionally. Marquis Elron Royd, appearing frustrated, grumbles, "This is frustrating," as he receives news. Marquis Elron Royd stands sternly in a courtyard while a captain observes him intently. Elron Royd questions a captain about the search for Gilroshan, who reports difficulty tracking the elusive fugitives. Marquis Elron Royd clenches his jaw, declaring Gilroshan is utterly useless and no help at all. Elron Royd internally laments his illegitimate son Kars, saved from slavery and entrusted to the Cillian family. Elron Royd rages internally that Kars, meant as bodyguard, permitted Gilroshan's kidnapping, fearing for Kars' evaluation. Elron Royd angrily dismisses the captain, furious at Gilroshan's impact on Kars' prospects despite his top potential. Elron Royd internally considers removing the prince and assigning Kars to the knights if this kidnapping reoccurs. Two officers discuss whether Karsilian and Tarvan Sui might locate the prince before them. Okay, I will read the text back to you. Story missing for image 50. Elron's captain reports that Lady Sui's poison fire magic makes it difficult to chase Gilroshan, despite her 7-star witch status. Marquis Elron Royd smirks, declaring, "Luckily, the heavens are on our side," as he prepares to pursue the prince. The captain looks confused, asking, "Yes," as Marquis Elron Royd implies a plan for Gilroshan's apprehension. Marquis Elrond commands his captain to annihilate the kidnappers and block escape routes, emphasizing no negotiations even with hostages. The captain agrees. Knights in shadowy blue mist enthusiastically respond, yes, and move out, beginning their mission to pursue the kidnappers. Marquis Elrond walks, internally noting that the special order means they won't consider Prince Gilroshan's safety during the operation. Marquis Elrond's harsh order confirms their sole focus. They will focus solely on killing the intruders, without regard for the prince. Marquis Elrond's stern face reflects his grim resolve, indicating a ruthless approach to eliminating the intruders without compromise. The grim order from Marquis Elrond concludes, no matter how much blood soaks the ground in the process, signaling a brutal assault. Gilroshan's focused expression, with glowing red eyes, hints at a new, perhaps darker, determination and resolve. Kars startles Gilroshan, asking about his deep thoughts and sword. Gilroshan calmly states he needs the sword for something. Is that correct? Kars compliments Gilroshan's improved appearance. Gilroshan attributes it to merely surviving harrowing experiences with scary old men like a lunatic. Kars looks confused, saying, huh? As Gilroshan internally wonders why Kars is acting so concerned and emotional. Kars, distressed, confesses his deep worry while chasing Gilroshan, emphasizing his fear if anything had happened to him. Gilroshan internally reflects on the original story, where he and Kars were like brothers, appreciating Kars' genuine concern despite his new identity. Gilroshan internally praises Kars as a solid tanker and, Knight of Dawn, recognizing his immense potential for future endgame challenges. Gilroshan smiles, reflecting that meeting Kars feels like reuniting with an old friend, while Tarvin Sui observes from the background. Is there anything else you would like me to read? Tarvin Sui yawns and stretches lazily, casually asking Gilroshan, did you sleep well? Signaling a relaxed morning after their journey. Gilroshan's internal thoughts acknowledge Tirvan's difficult recruitment, pondering if Gilroshan's original emotions still persist within him. Kars politely asks Lady Sui if she slept well, inviting her to sit with Gilroshan. Lady Sui blushes. Ah, yes! Tarvan Sui blushes intensely, promising to wash up before joining Kars, feeling a dull ache of obligation towards them. Kars praises Gilroshan's newfound sharpness and energy, reminiscing about the old days, prompting Gilroshan to question the past. Gilroshan internally reflects on the Royal Academy, a school for high nobility, as Kars continues to speak about the past. Kars fondly remembers Gilroshan's brilliance at the Royal Academy, stating how everyone, even the Emperor, adored him then. Kars ponders if things would differ if magic wasn't essential, suggesting Gilroshan's past struggles stemmed from this societal pressure. Gilroshan gazes intently, internally confirming that his lack of magic talent as a prince in a magic-worshipping empire makes sense. Gilroshan's internal thoughts reveal he was a highly anticipated prince who felt abandoned as people left him due to his lack of magic. Gilroshan tells Kars, don't dwell too much on the past, Kars, asserting that the painful history is no longer his own. Gilroshan emphasizes that only Kars remembers his past as the third prince from the Royal Academy, highlighting Kars' unique loyalty. Kars looks pensive, absorbing Gilroshan's profound words about the past, his expression showing deep thought about their shared history and future. Kars beams, pledging his absolute loyalty with a resolute, "Yes, Your Highness, absolutely," to Gilroshan, solidifying their bond. Gilroshan internally notes that, luckily, people don't recognize him, prompting a confused, huh, from Kars. Gilroshan, radiating confidence over a pile of gold, declares his resolve as a trash prince to master the god-forsaken world. Gilroshan dismisses magic talent, seeing his past as a slave gladiator as a temporary setback before his next chance at power. Gilroshan tells Kars to remember his resolve to survive and make things right, promising no one will look down on him. Gilroshan firmly declares, no one will dare look down on your friend, brother, and lord me, asserting his future dominance. Gilroshan's confident, slightly mischievous smile suggests his unwavering resolve and cleverness in navigating his challenging new path. Gilroshan encourages Kars, telling him to hold your head high, reinforcing their new, confident future together as loyal companions. Kars questions Gilroshan's joking, as the trio, Gilroshan, Kars, and Tarvin Sui, walks uphill in a calm moment. Gilroshan prepares to explain his plan, reminding Kars about palace traitors, as a large cockroach symbolizes the corruption. Kars confirms he remembers Gilroshan stating there are too many traitors inside the palace, validating Gilroshan's earlier concerns. Gilroshan confirms Kars's understanding about palace traitors, then asks if he knows Marquis Elon Lloyd from the northern capital. Kars identifies Marquis Lloyd as his father's friend and a swordmaster, stunned, exclaiming, "No way!" at the implication. Gilroshan clarifies, Marquis Lloyd isn't the traitor, but is blocking their path and will try to drag him back to the palace. Kars asks if Gilroshan will persuade Marquis Lloyd like he did them. Gilroshan questions if the Marquis would even listen. Kars states persuasion won't work, predicting they'll be instantly wiped out by inquisitorial priests and dragged back. Gilroshan smiles confidently, reassuring Kars, "I'm not disappointed. Don't worry," hinting at a clever, unexpected plan to overcome their obstacles. Kars asks if Gilroshan has another method, to which Gilroshan confidently confirms, "A method? Yes, I do." Kars and Lady Sui express their shared curiosity, both asking Gilroshan, what is it about his new method? Gilroshan places his hand firmly on a sword, cryptically stating, quote, "The method's right here," implying a direct and possibly violent solution. Gilroshan, holding his sword, resolves to defeat Marquis Lloyd to clear their path, stating it's the only way forward. Kars and Tarvin Sui stand utterly confused by Gilroshan's bold declaration, questioning his drastic plan to confront the Marquis. Kars, with Tarvin Sui, expresses deep concern, asking Gilroshan if he's unwell and suggesting he return home, emphasizing his humanity. Gilroshan, surrounded by impatient Kars-like figures, internally wonders why everyone is so rushing him, questioning their eagerness. Gilroshan angrily tells Kars and Sui they're going too far, demanding they listen to his plan for fighting the Marquis first. A furious Kars shouts back at Gilroshan, demanding who is going too far and questioning their options against the commander. Tarvin Sui sits frustrated, lamenting her past lack of interest in magic, feeling helpless in the current challenging situation. Kars and Tarvin Sui sit dejectedly, Kars acknowledging that their current lack of power explains why they are being dismissed. Utilizing counters, traps, and psychological factors can enable a 6-star to defeat a 9-star opponent. Tarvin Sui, sitting, prompts Gilroshan to elaborate on his plan, eagerly asking how he intends to accomplish his goal. Gilroshan confidently reveals his plan: invoke a noble duel with Marquis Lloyd, aiming to disarm him despite being a, quote, zero scrub. Kars reacts with utter disbelief and distress, unequivocally declaring Gilroshan's duel plan impossible. Absolutely impossible. The panel defines a quote, noble duel as a traditional one-to-one duel method recognized by Vault Empire law and noble tradition. The noble duel rules are clarified. Conditions, rules, and victory are mutually agreed upon by both duelists and the designated witness. Gilroshan reveals his strategy for the noble duel, explaining he will set the rules and designates Kars as the essential witness. Kars expresses concern about Gilroshan's proposed duel rules, fearing they might be unacceptable or endanger the prince. Gilroshan announces his intention to propose 3 specific conditions to Marquis Lloyd for their upcoming duel. Gilroshan proposes the first 2 duel conditions: swordsmanship only, and instant loss for dropping a weapon. Kars reacts with shock. Gilroshan reveals the 3rd duel condition: no armor allowed. Kars's face contorts in intense anger and disbelief. Kars, sitting dejectedly, tells Gilroshan that the proposed duel rules offer him no advantage whatsoever. Kars argues the swordsmanship-only rule is not an advantage, as the commander is already the Empire's strongest swordsman. Kars highlights the drop your sword, lose rules disadvantage, noting the weaker party is more likely to drop their weapon. Is there anything else you would like me to read? Kars vehemently rejects the no armor rule, refusing any condition that endangers Gilroshan, explaining the non-accountable nature of duels. Kars refuses to witness the duel under such dangerous terms. Gilroshan reassures him his life won't be in danger. Gilroshan explains his strategy by posing a hypothetical scenario to Kars, a swordmaster facing a rookie challenge. Gilroshan extends his hypothetical, asking Kars how he'd react if a prince challenged him under specific, restrictive duel conditions. Kars internally confirms he would hold back against a rookie prince, opting to disarm him rather than cause serious injury. Tarvin Sui agrees. Gilroshan explains the no armor rule forces the Marquis to be cautious, ensuring his safety. Gilroshan confidently states the Marquis won't kill him, especially with Kars as witness, ensuring no harm comes to his lord. Kars looks confused, asking Gilroshan why the commander would hate him, puzzled by his earlier implications. Gilroshan internally acknowledges his father's intent to kill him, then humorously deflects Kars's question, citing bad blood with the Marquis. Kars asks for clarification, but Gilroshan cryptically states it's, quote, complicated, and he cannot explain the situation right now. Tarvin Sui interjects, asking Gilroshan about the priest squad, noting their absence and that she hasn't seen them today. An orc prisoner, likely captured, displays a worried and sweating expression. Hooded priests argue about size in front of tied-up goblins, while another goblin looks confused. A hooded figure dismisses the, quote, so-called priests, criticizing their behavior and perceived lack of true faith. The high priest, holding a captured beast-like creature, states that true faith must be steady and sincere. Two masked priests complain to the high priest, accusing the captured individual of cheating and demanding his release. The high priest refuses to release the captive, citing the effort to catch him, as another priest inquires about the goblin's previous captives. Several villagers are shown tied up on a wooden platform, some conscious, others appearing to be unconscious. A hooded high priest approaches the tied villagers, who react with shocked exclamations of, "OHHH! My God!" The high priest reveals he sent the villagers home, crediting, quote, God Golem's will, and demanding they give thanks. The high priest declares their preparations complete, having captured enough, and orders a priest to fetch Prince Gilroshan. Multiple priests eagerly compete to be the one to fetch Prince Gilroshan, each claiming to be the closest to him. Calm yourselves, all of you. The high priest warns that Gilroshan, despite being a potential apostle, remains a hostile prince until confirmed by the archbishop. The high priest emphasizes caution, stating they must avoid becoming too attached to Gilroshan until his future is certain. The high priest asks a white-haired priest to fetch Gilroshan while a captured beast-like creature is visible. The white-haired priest acknowledges the high priest's command, confirming he will proceed to fetch Gilroshan. The white-haired priest internally thinks this situation is perfect to figure out Gilroshan's exact plans. Gilroshan, holding his sword, suggests moving while discussing their plans, stating things should be wrapping up. Kars and Tarvain Sui stand by. Tarvain Sui, with a confused expression, questions Gilroshan's statement about wrapping up, asking him what he means. Gilroshan, smiling, reveals he ordered the priest order to clear out a nearby goblin village, expecting them to be finished by now. An internal thought bubble defines Gilroshan's action in gaming terms as carrying a newbie, highlighting his perspective on the situation. Kars and Tarvin Sui display confused expressions, indicated by a large question mark, as they process Gilroshan's remarks. Gilroshan, with a confident, slightly menacing smile, declares that he, the third prince, Gilroshan, must deliver the final blow. Damp Goblin Village, a hunting ground inhabited by seasoned goblins, not recommended for beginners. Gilroshan, Kars, and Tarvain Sui walk through the forest as Gilroshan prepares to reveal his trump card in their plan. Gilroshan, with a confident smirk, reveals his trump card. He knows Marquis Loit's weakness, surprising Tarvain Sui and Kars. Kars confirms he also knows the captain's, Marquis Loit's, weakness, a relatively poor synergy between his magic and swordsmanship. Tarvin Sui adds that she's heard about the Marquis's magic output efficiency lacking, agreeing with Kars about his weakness. Gilroshan clarifies that the magic/swordsmanship weakness is only compared to other swordmasters, but currently Marquis Loit's right shoulder is paralyzed. In the game, Marquis Roy appears with a paralyzed right shoulder for unknown reasons. Marquis Loit is depicted in bloody armor, with his arms crossed, showing a serious, battle-hardened appearance. Tarvain Sui asks if Gilroshan's information about the paralyzed shoulder is true, stating it's the first she's heard of it. Gilroshan confirms. Kars asks Gilroshan where he heard about the Marquis's injury. Gilroshan thinks he'll lie a little here before answering. Gilroshan, with a sly smile, claims he overheard the Emperor and the Imperial Knights captain discussing it. Tarvain Sui deems it accurate. Kars realizes if the Marquis's shoulder is paralyzed, he cannot use Vanguard swordsmanship, a two-handed technique. Gilroshan confirms this is correct. Is there anything else I can help you with? An informational panel defines Vanguard swordsmanship as an S-class, two-handed secret sword technique of the prestigious Roit family. Another panel adds that Vanguard swordsmanship's damage increases by 20% if the Roit family's famous sword Howlblade is equipped. Vanguard is a top-tier cleaving swordsmanship, the skill that elevated Euron Roit to 9-star rank, synergizing perfectly with Howlblade. Tarvain Sui notes that the Marquis being unable to use his signature technique means there might now be a way to defeat him. Kars cautions that a swordmaster is still a swordmaster, stating the captain can use one-handed swordsmanship at a 7-star level. Kars vehemently protests that even with one hand, the Marquis is incomparable to Gilroshan, showing intense distress and fear for the prince. Gilroshan internally wonders if Kars is a loyalist freak, surprised by his fierce devotion to the Marquis. Gilroshan concedes Kars is right about the Marquis's strength, but reveals he also knows which one-handed sword technique the Marquis will use. Kars and Tarvain Sui react with shocked expressions and an exclamation mark, utterly surprised that Gilroshan knows even that detail. In Sinverse, sword techniques have strong affinities, making even trivial skills powerful depending on matchups. Gilroshan asks if there's a chance to make the Marquis drop his sword if that's the only condition, looking confident despite Kars's apprehension. Gilroshan asserts he knows the sword technique to use, but is interrupted by the appearance of the white-haired priest, who questions his strength. Gilroshan is startled by the white-haired priest's sudden appearance, wondering when he arrived and who he is. The white-haired priest sternly asks Gilroshan if he lacks the strength to even receive the Marquis's sword. Gilroshan looks surprised. Gilroshan internally admits his current strength makes it hard to take the Marquis's blows, preparing to reveal his solution. An informational panel introduces Elixir of Strength, a consumable that greatly enhances the user's strength for a short time. The white-haired priest observes Gilroshan, thinking he plans to take down the king of the Lokman Mountains using the elixir. Gilroshan tells the priest they are not enough to handle the Mountain King monster alone, but hopes someone will help if they succeed. A tied-up orc prisoner yells in fear and anger, telling Gilroshan, "Kirek, don't come, human! Hate humans!" Gilroshan looks down with a concerned and sweating expression, contemplating the situation with the living creatures. Gilroshan internally notes the unsettling reality of living creatures compared to game entities as he stands before a tied-up goblin. Gilroshan is shown hitting the goblin, which shouts its hatred for humans, then levels up and feels a warm sense of fulfillment. You've gained 1 skill point. Gilroshan stares at the skill tree, having gained 3 skill points, starting bonus plus level 1 bonus, and uses them to learn Vagabond Martial Arts, gaining strength and stamina. Gilroshan looks at more tied goblins, realizing he needs to be level 7 to learn the sword skill for the Marquis, and he's only level 1, indicating a long way to go. Multiple, you have leveled up. Messages appear, along with a skill tree icon, indicating rapid progression. Gilroshan spends 4 skill points to learn Extreme Training, which makes him more adept in critical situations and applies an Intelligence plus 1% bonus. Kars and Tarvain Sui notice Gilroshan's sudden change in presence. Tarvain Sui asks if he sneaked something good without telling me. Gilroshan internally acknowledges the great skill buffs and changes happening to his body from the leveling. Gilroshan claims he ate something good prepared by the priest order, then slyly tells Tarvain Sui he ate it all when she asks for some. Tarvain Sui reacts with fury, accusing Gilroshan of being an ungrateful brat for eating it all while she served his old master, infuriating Gilroshan. A hooded priest asks Gilroshan what they should do next, seemingly seeking his command. Gilroshan instructs the priest to drive goblins his way, but only as many as they can handle, showing his strategic approach to the hunt. Gilroshan internally notes that last hitting isn't enough. He needs to directly hunt goblins for express and to gain experience in sword combat. A swarm of goblins charges towards Gilroshan and his companions, far more than Gilroshan expected, causing him surprise. An intense, fiery action sequence unfolds as Gilroshan engages the charging goblins, with powerful combat effects indicating a fierce clash. Tarvan Sui offers to hold off 2 of the goblins for Gilroshan, demonstrating her support and combat readiness. A goblin aggressively leaps towards Gilroshan, who stands ready with his sword, preparing to defend against the aerial attack. Gilroshan skillfully parries the goblin's attack with his sword, deflecting its blow in a fluid, defensive maneuver. Gilroshan, surprised, internally remarks on the unexpected strength found in such a small goblin, showing his realization of their power. Gilroshan continues to engage the goblin in close combat, with energy effects around his sword, indicating a persistent and focused fight. Gilroshan internally muses that swinging the sword doesn't feel foreign, possibly thanks to the gladiator slave card aiding his combat. Gilroshan notices a target reticle, like in a game, appearing on the goblin, indicating hit points and the opportune moment to strike. Gilroshan strikes forcefully at the goblin with his sword, generating significant blue energy effects around his blade. Gilroshan smiles confidently, noting the combat wasn't as hard as he thought, then declares, "Good, next," signaling his readiness. Gilroshan activates the Taste for Pain skill, which massively increases his mental and physical recovery speed for 30 seconds. Kars, looking utterly exhausted, suggests they stop for today, showing the physical toll of the battle on him. Kar states that both he and the priest order are completely exhausted, reinforcing the difficulty of their prolonged goblin hunt. Gilroshan, looking pleased, agrees that this is enough and suggests they head back to enjoy some revolutionary solo drinks. The masked priests cheer, shouting, "Thank you, Eolam," indicating gratitude towards one of their members after the battle. A warm campfire crackles in the forest, with drinks nearby, setting a relaxed atmosphere for the group. A white-haired priest, drinking, begins a story by asking, "Did I ever tell you about the time I ran into a massive orc?" Marquis Lloyd, accompanied by other knights, discreetly observes Gilroshan and his group around the campfire from a distance. A knight asks the Marquis, "Captain, what should we do?" seeking guidance on how to proceed. Kar stands by Gilroshan, thinking he's lying again, as Gilroshan gestures with a sly smile and a drink. Marquis Lloyd looks troubled, wondering, what is this situation even, as he continues to observe the scene. Gilroshan laughs jovially, while text reveals Marquis Lloyd's internal thought. "And that's the pig Prince Gilroshan?" Marcus Lloyd stares intently from behind a tree, a single ellipsis conveying his continued, deep contemplation of the surprising scene. A knight asks the Marquis, "Captain, what should we do? Do we eliminate them all?" indicating an aggressive approach. The Marquis's subordinate asks for a decision. Marquis Lloyd tells him to hold on, "I'm thinking," with a serious expression. Marquis Lloyd internally notes the lack of attempts to cover tracks or use concealment magic, concluding the situation is suspiciously obvious. Marquis Lloyd speculates it's a trap, as only a few, including Gilroshan, are drinking, with the vengeance priests nearby. Marquis Lloyd reflects that Gilroshan, accompanied by Kars and Tarvan Sui, doesn't appear kidnapped, despite orders to rescue him. Marquis Lloyd, still thinking, starts to doubt his trap theory upon observing Gilroshan and his companions. A knight asks the Marquis, "Captain, what are you going to do?" as they notice the priest moving towards the group. Marquis Lloyd orders his men to stand by, stating they need to assess the situation before reporting anything. Gilroshan, Kars, and the priest notice the approaching special task force, with Gilroshan wondering, "The special task force?" Marquis Lloyd, addressed as Lord Pellet, greets Gilroshan, expressing relief that, "I'm glad you're safe, Your Highness." Gilroshan welcomes Burn Pell. Pellet then questions Kars, demanding an explanation for the situation, displaying suspicion. Pellet confronts Kars, asking if he, Gilroshan, and Tarvan Sui have betrayed the Empire, his expression stern. Gilroshan internally ponders if Pellet's disrespect is too little respect for a prince, despite his reputation as a troublemaker. Kars, stepping forward, demands Pellet give a proper greeting to the prince before receiving an explanation, defending Gilroshan. Tarvan Sue steps up, confirming her agreement with Kars's demand that Lord Pellet greet the prince properly. Gilroshan internally smiles, thinking about Kars and Tarvan Sui. These guys, they're quite reliable, aren't they? Lord Pellet glares with a furious expression, his face contorted in anger at Kars and Tarvan Sui's defiance. Lord Pellet kneels, formally greeting Gilroshan as the Prince of the Great Vault Empire, acknowledging his position. Gilroshan dismisses Pellet, allowing him to rise, then asks Kars and Tarvan Sui to let him speak to Pellet alone. Gilroshan steps forward, telling Lord Pellet, "Nice to meet you, Lord Pellet," as Kars and Tarvan Sui walk away. Gilroshan explains to Pellet that the Vengeance Priests haven't tried to cover their tracks, suggesting someone of Pellet's caliber would find it strange. Gilroshan further explains the Vengeance Priests only create confusion for pursuers, and asks Pellet why they would do such a thing. Gilroshan reveals he asked the Vengeance Priests to act that way because he was waiting for you. Pellet questions his purpose. Gilroshan explicitly tells Pellet, "First of all, I was not kidnapped," shocking Pellet, who murmurs, "Pardon?" Gilroshan informs Pellet he will go to Orax with the Vengeance Priests, and requires a meeting with Pellet's superior, Marquis Elron Roy. Lord Pellet appears bewildered by Gilroshan's intentions, as the prince firmly declares, "Don't look at me like I've lost my mind. I'm not crazy." Lord Pellet, distressed, internally exclaims that there must be a limit even for a madman, reflecting his disbelief at Gilroshan's audacious plan. "Do you have any other text you would like me to read?" Lord Pellet, sternly questioning Gilroshan, asks if he misheard and if the prince is implying a betrayal of the empire with his actions. Gilroshan confidently dismisses Pellet's accusation, asking if a prince needs to spell out everything, suggesting they simply go meet Marquis Roy. Lord Pellet, seemingly defeated by Gilroshan's logic, reluctantly concedes. Quote, "No, you are correct," acknowledging the prince's point. Gilroshan's eyes glow with determination, internally noting, "Good. Got the discipline back in order," after asserting his authority to Lord Pellet. Gilroshan, touching Pellet's shoulder, states they will depart at dawn but adds he needs to make one stop before then. Gilroshan, with a wide smile, vaguely explains his stop is nothing much, just to hunt down a harmful beast troubling the local citizens. And just in case, Gilroshan, putting an arm around Pellet, gravely warns him not to even think about attacking the Vengeance Priests, regardless of circumstances. Gilroshan smiles slyly, questioning Pellet about his long service under Commander Roy, implying Pellet knows Kars's secret origins. A shocked Pellet denies knowing Kars's secret, but Gilroshan silences him, suggesting they, quote, "just let tonight slide," implying a threat. Gilroshan ensures Pellet understands the unspoken threat, asking, "Nice and quiet, yes?" "Understood, Lord Pellet?" with an unsettling smile. Gilroshan's hand grips Pellet's arm firmly, a visual display of his subtle yet undeniable control over the situation. Gilroshan dismisses Pellet, instructing him to return with his subordinates at dawn, concluding their tense discussion for the night. Pellet, reeling from the encounter, internally questions Gilroshan's identity, wondering if the rumors were wrong or if the prince has simply lost his mind. The lingering smoke from a smoldering campfire rises into the daytime sky, marking the aftermath of the night's events. Lush green leaves with water droplets frame the scene, suggesting a peaceful, natural environment under a clear, bright sky. Gilroshan stands alone in a sunlit clearing, his back to the viewer, surveying the calm, verdant forest around him. Gilroshan, wielding a sword, observes a technique identified as Marquis Elron Roy's Trafalgar swordsmanship, despite the Marquis's paralyzed shoulder. Trafalgar swordsmanship is a grade B skill from Luxon Kingdom Knights, focusing on defense, and usable with any weapon. Roaring Sword is a knight's ego sword, a symbolic weapon of the Roy family head, usable regardless of weapon type. The armored Marquis is depicted holding his greatsword, with text emphasizing that he, quote, never lets go of his greatsword. A skill tree interface is displayed, indicating that 4 skill points have been used, with a specific node highlighted as activated. A new skill, Nomadic Crushing Swordsmanship, Grade C, is revealed, a tribal style focusing on crushing swordplay, hinting at a hidden secret. Gilroshan confidently holds his sword as a notification confirms you can now perform basic sword techniques, indicating new combat ability. A delighted, chibi-style Gilroshan with sparkling eyes holds his sword, exclaiming, "This is so amazing!" in sheer excitement. Text compares 2 swordsmanship styles, crushing, with powerful, relentless attacks, and flowing, which creates openings through soft transitions. A diagram illustrates crushing, quick, and flowing sword types in Shinverse, noting their rock-paper-scissors-like relationships for strategic combat. Gilroshan's internal monologue explains that a 1-grade difference can be negligible or advantageous if a fast swordplay style counters a soft-flowing one. The nomadic crushing swordsmanship skill description is shown before revealing the Luxon Kingdom, a vassal state in the west. The Luxon Kingdom sought dominance and enslaved nomads, leading to the United Nomads nearly bringing the kingdom to ruin in fiery rebellion. Despite their defeat, the nomads' unique swordsmanship, a style forged to break enemy swords, persisted as their legacy. Kars cheerfully announces to Gilroshan that everyone is assembled and ready to depart, while Tarvain Suis stands by. Gilroshan walks forward, thinking that his new C-grade skill, Nomadic Crushing Swordsmanship, will soon reveal its hidden potential. 2 distinct groups, the Special Task Force and the Vengeance Priests, face each other, each led by their respective commanders. Gilroshan, Kars, Tarvain Suis, and their combined forces stand before a cave entrance, with Gilroshan reacting with surprise. Lord Pellet observes the 2 groups, internally noting his surprise that they didn't get along well, implying tension between them. Gilroshan, yawning, instructs the group to focus on continuous wounds rather than big strikes, questioning if they understood his tactical advice. Did I read that back correctly? A priest tells Gilroshan they understood his 10-minute explanation, but Gilroshan, exasperated, realizes they didn't understand at all. Gilroshan, surprised and frustrated, realizes his miscalculation. He had planned to sit out the raid and leave it entirely to Irgal. A close-up of Irgal's masked face shows his silent contemplation, conveying a moment of unspoken thought or realization. Irgal tells Gilroshan he must accompany him to ensure the others listen, with Kars and Tarvain Suis silently agreeing to the necessity. Gilroshan commands Kars to hit him hard enough for everyone to hear, insisting it's necessary for his survival, despite Kars's hesitation. Kars punches Gilroshan in the face, interrupting the prince's command, as Gilroshan had just declared his permission for the hit. Gilroshan, clutching his cheek after being punched, loudly complains that hitting him while he was still talking is cheating. With a red mark on his cheek, Gilroshan sternly declares he, Gilroshan Elro de Valt, will now take direct command of both forces. Gilroshan warns both groups that, once inside, they must follow his orders without mind games, or none of them will make it out alive. A menacing, 3-eyed orc-like creature is revealed, identified as Gromhart, king of the Lokman Mountains, implying extreme danger. Gilroshan warns both forces that disobedience will result in death, while Pellet internally reflects on Gilroshan's initial pest extermination claim. Gilroshan, with a sharp gesture, states he believes he's explained enough, emphasizing his decisive leadership and ending the discussion. Gilroshan commands the assembled forces to "let's move in," leading them into the glowing cave entrance, ready to confront the danger within. An ominous shot reveals a vast pile of bones, highlighting the gruesome aftermath of Gromhart's feeding and the danger ahead. A close-up of Gromhart's menacing 3-eyed face and tusks is shown, intensifying the threat and danger within the cave. A glowing white mist rises over the bone pile, accompanied by an ominous "khuu" sound, hinting at Gromhart's hidden presence. Gromhart remarks on the, quote, "delicious smell of fresh meat" as the advancing forces unknowingly walk into his lair, ready for battle. A knight observes the massive pile of bones, horrified, realizing the monster has eaten countless people, likely tribute from villagers. The knight expresses shame and anger at the Empire's ignorance, admitting they must now rely on rebels to handle this grave threat. The knight grips his sword, the thought bubble, the special task force, appearing, indicating his focus on their unexpected presence. The knight's thought continues, expressing frustration that the special task force exists and the Empire was unaware of it. The knight, with fierce determination, declares it's all our fault and vows to avenge the fallen citizens of the Empire. Understood? The knights of the Special Task Force respond with a resounding, "Yes, sir!" Their faces grim and determined for the battle ahead. The Special Task Force charges forward with a cry of, "Let's go!" indicating their determined advance into the monster's lair. A Vengeance Priest dismissively remarks, "Teask, knights, huh?" Then asserts that revenge for the fallen ultimately belongs to them. Another Vengeance Priest declares that Lord Alem thirsts for revenge, affirming their group will also join the monster hunt. The Vengeance Priests charge into the cave, their determined advance creating a blur of motion, ready for battle. Both groups charge into the cave, illuminating the path with their determined advance over the eerie pile of bones. Gromhart, the three-eyed orc-like creature, charges fiercely, engaging in combat with a knight who meets his attack with a sword. Another knight faces off against a charging Gromhart, displaying swift movements as the battle against the formidable beast begins. A knight skillfully dodges Gromhart's powerful attack, showcasing agility in the intense battle against the massive monster. Gromhart's eye glows intensely, showing a fierce determination as he is engaged in combat, highlighting his formidable presence. A knight realizes, just like the third prince said, that an attack to Gromhart's eye, its supposed weak spot, has no effect. Gilroshan commands the Special Task Force to start by breaking Gromhart's shell, to which a knight responds, "Yes, sir!" as they attack. A Vengeance Priest deftly lands a blow against Gromhart, showcasing the priesthood's agility and skill in combat. Gilroshan's swordsmanship connects with Gromhart, creating a powerful impact as he joins the fray, showcasing his new skill. Multiple warriors from both groups swarm Gromhart, launching coordinated attacks, showing their combined effort to bring the beast down. Gilroshan observes the battle, noting the Special Task Force's superb swordsmanship and agility, which rivals the priesthood's. Gilroshan internally assesses Gromhart's Phase 1 as manageable due to his weakened state, optimized for agile DPS units. Gilroshan ominously warns that the real problem begins when Gromhart stands back up for Phase 2, which is coming soon. Gilroshan complains about Irgil running off, as Kars tells him to prepare magic, making Gilroshan regret bringing players with sharp instincts. The warriors continue to relentlessly attack Gromhart, pummeling the weakened beast with a flurry of strikes, the ground shaking. Gromhart's eye glows as he furiously exclaims, "You disgusting insects!" showing his anger at the relentless attacks. Kars, alarmed, yells, "Everyone, back away!" as Gromhart prepares for a devastating counterattack, escalating the danger. Gromhart, now enraged, wields his axe, preparing to unleash a powerful attack on the retreating warriors, showing his transformation. A warrior is sent flying by Gromhart's powerful attack, highlighting the sheer force of the monster's new, intensified assault. Tarvan Sue, empowered by flames, declares she's ready, preparing to unleash her magic against Gromhart. Tarvan Sue launches a fiery magical orb towards Gromhart, with smaller fire entities swirling around the main projectile. Tarvan Sue's powerful fiery explosion engulfs Gromhart, creating a massive blast of flames on the bone-strewn ground. Gromhart roars in pain, enveloped in intense flames from Tarvan Sue's attack, indicating the severity of the magical assault. Tarvan Sue observes Gromhart, horrified as her body is frozen and unable to move, realizing the monster's resistance to her magic. Tarvan Sue stands frozen as Gromhart, apparently unfazed, menacingly approaches her, axe raised, showing her attack failed. Irgil appears, launching a swift, precise sword attack directly at Gromhart's face, intervening to protect Tarvan and Sui from danger. Irgil's sword strikes Gromhart, demonstrating the sharpness of his attack and the monster's surprising resilience, deflecting the blow. Irgil and other warriors swarm Gromhart again, attacking from multiple angles as the beast roars, indicating the sustained assault. Urgal and the Special Task Force continue their relentless sword attacks on Gromhart, forcing the monster to its knees with their combined might. Gilroshan observes the ongoing fight, internally acknowledging that everyone is doing great despite Gromhart's tenacity. Gilroshan internally explains that in Phase 2, Gromhart gains high physical response and strong healing, making sword attacks meaningless. A Vengeance Priest questions if sword attacks are truly ineffective and suggests using Sword Spirit against Gromhart's defenses. Gilroshan advises against magic-imbued swords due to poor efficiency against Gromhart. Kars questions how they will defeat the monster, showing concern for their strategy. Kars explains elemental magic is effective and unhealable, stating 7-star witch Tarvin Sui will use fire magic. A knight worries Gromhart will charge her. The plan is revealed. Various team members will take turns distracting Gromhart, drawing his attention away from Tarvin Sui while she casts her powerful magic. Gilroshan instructs the priests to use their magic for swift movement rather than sword spirit, optimizing their agility for the impending battle against Gromhart. Gilroshan, looking confident, asks the group, "How about that? Pretty easy, right?" implying their new strategy is simple and effective. Gromhart, enraged, is enveloped in red energy as he unleashes a powerful axe attack, while a magical seal on the ground signifies an incoming powerful spell. Is there anything else I can read for you? As Gromhart rages, attacking with red energy, a hooded figure stands ready, while Tarvin Sui unleashes a massive fire attack in the chaotic background. Urgal, masked and with a smirk, observes the escalating battle, hinting at his hidden intentions or satisfaction with the chaos unfolding. Gromhart charges furiously with his axe, targeting a lone figure. Other warriors in the background brace for the imminent and ferocious attack. An armored foot lands with a tack sound, cracking the ground, signaling a strong impact or swift movement by a character. Gromhart stands menacingly over a fallen knight, his axe raised, as other knights appear in the background, witnessing the brutal attack. Urgal, masked, declares his sword the Blade of Revolution, apologizing to the Empire's knights as he likely moves to intervene or act independently. A hooded figure faces a group of Knights of the Empire with glowing eyes and determined expressions, hinting at a confrontation or a strategic decision. Fall back, everyone. Tarvin Sui stands resolute, her staff glowing with intense red energy, preparing to unleash a powerful magical spell amidst the chaos. Gromhart fiercely battles multiple attackers, swinging his axe with powerful force, generating energy slashes as the intense conflict continues. Tarvin Sui asks Gilroshan about casting magic, fearing a friendly fire blast, while Gilroshan is confused by the sudden chaos among the previously coordinated forces. Is there anything else I can help you with? An alarming thought. This is bad. We're not landing any magic damage. If this continues into Phase 3, indicating a critical failure in their strategy. Gilroshan, panicked, yells at Sir Pellet and the High Priest, urging them to stop their reckless actions, warning that not hitting and running will lead to annihilation. A knight commands the priesthood to fall back, asserting the superiority of the Sword of Revolution, while a Vengeance Priest states their swordsmanship is unmatched. Gilroshan yells in frustration, "What are you both doing? Don't provoke each other," as the team's infighting allows Gromhart to attack a knight. A knight screams in agony or shock, face distorted, as debris flies around them, indicating they've been caught in an attack or explosion. Gromhart's monstrous eye glows with intense, fierce determination, signifying his heightened power or focus in the ongoing chaotic battle. Urgal, mid-air with his sword, is recognized as wielding a, quote, revolutionary's blade as he descends upon Gromhart with a powerful attack. Urgal's swift sword attack blurs through the air, striking Gromhart, who reels back from the force, indicating a powerful and effective blow. A brilliant column of light descends from the sky, impacting the bone-strewn ground, hinting at a powerful divine or magical intervention. As a blinding light column strikes, a crucial raid lesson is stated: never let your guard down, even when things seem to be going well. Gilroshan internally reflects that experienced gamers never drop their guard in raids, even when easy, implying current events are due to carelessness. Gilroshan observes Gromhart, realizing the group's non-gamer status made them drop their guard, explaining why everything felt too easy until now. Gilroshan realizes he also let his guard down, fearing that if the battle progresses to Phase 3, not only others, but he too will face grave danger. A stark realization dawns with fear. I'll die too, indicating extreme personal danger if the current dire situation continues. The grim internal thought persists, at this rate, I might really die, highlighting the severe and immediate threat to life. Gilroshan is paralyzed and surrounded by a red aura, realizing he must find a way to escape this perilous situation, despite being unable to move his head. A comforting hand grips his shoulder, providing reassurance amidst the tense situation, likely offering support or a warning. Cowles reassures Gilroshan not to worry, stating, "Your Highness's sword and shield are right here," pledging their unwavering support and protection. Cowles confidently explains that the Special Operations Knights and Avenger Priests are elite forces who have overcome countless life-threatening dangers, boosting morale. Cowles expresses relief that Gilroshan has returned to his former self, but hints at an unresolved issue or concern that needs addressing. Cowles, with a hand on Gilroshan's shoulder, suggests Gilroshan is bearing too much burden alone and offers support if it ever becomes too heavy. Cowles smiles warmly at Gilroshan, offering open support and reassurance. You can share it with me anytime, fostering a sense of camaraderie. Cowles. Gilroshan, with a distressed expression, tells Cowles not to say such things, fearing it sounds like a death flag for the group. A knight is violently struck, reeling back with visible impact, highlighting the intensity of the ongoing battle against Gromhart and the danger. A knight, appearing stunned or injured, is asked, "Are you okay?" emphasizing concern amidst the ongoing fierce confrontation. A knight, appearing weakened, looks up and calls out El Leader to another figure, reaching out for help amidst the battle. "Of course I am," as a gleaming sword is powerfully drawn, signaling readiness for renewed combat. The leader helps the fallen knight up, urging him to hang on just a little bit longer, receiving a determined "Yea, sir" in response. A knight leader realizes the current chaos cannot continue, recalling the third prince's strategy to divert attention and hold the target for magic. Gromhart rages as the team successfully draws his attention, but the increasing number of injured personnel makes it impossible to hold him steady for magic. A masked figure appears hurt or heavily impacted, reacting to the intense battle's toll, suggesting an unexpected turn of events. As allies falter, a determined hand grips a glowing sword, vowing to bear the burden and avenge the Empire's fallen citizens, despite mounting exhaustion. Cowles unleashes a powerful blue energy attack, his form surrounded by swirling light as he moves with intense focus against Gromhart. A figure with wide eyes observes Cowles, who is enveloped in a powerful blue, electric energy, indicating a formidable attack. Gromhart is repeatedly struck by both blue and fiery elemental attacks, reeling from the powerful impacts as the coordinated assault continues. Cowles urgently shouts, "You have to do it now," compelling immediate action from his team amidst the intense battle. Gromhart is engulfed in a massive fire explosion, laughing defiantly as he endures the powerful elemental magic unleashed upon him. "Well done?" Gilroshan's eye widens dramatically with an exclamation mark, signaling a sudden, alarming realization about the battle. Gromhart, enraged and glowing red, realizes his demon eye, fixed on Gilroshan, not the intended target he previously attacked. Gilroshan internally acknowledges it's too late to dodge and prepares to block Gromhart's incoming powerful attack. Gilroshan blocks Gromhart's massive axe with his sword, a painful struggle as purple energy emanates from the impact. Gilroshan screams in pain, his face contorted, with blood splattering, showing the devastating impact of Gromhart's attack. Gromhart looms over a seemingly defeated Gilroshan, who internally questions if this is the end, and hears a knight's loyal farewell. Gromhart furiously charges, unleashing a powerful attack, indicated by blurred lines and blue energy, continuing his relentless assault. Urgel, masked, calls Cowles rebel scum, but quickly warns him that making a scene has drawn Gromhart's attention. "Is there anything else I can help you with?" Urgal sternly informs Kals that his actions have drawn the monster's full attention, causing Kals to hesitate. Urgal proposes to Kals that they combine forces to compensate for their missing allies and raise some hell together, to which Kals agrees. Kals and Urgal engage Gromhart together, their swords crackling with blue energy, launching a synchronized attack. Gromhart reels back from the combined electric sword attacks of Kals and Urgal, showing the effectiveness of their coordinated effort. Gromhart's monstrous eye glows with intensified focus and rage, signaling a shift in his power or intent. Gromhart unleashes a devastating red energy attack, creating a fiery explosion upon impact with an unseen target. Kals smiles, relieved, stating Gilroshan has returned to his former self, indicating his recovery or renewed determination. Good! To think Pellet and Vamila would pull this off. Tarvan Sui, smiling confidently, instructs her disciple to observe closely, declaring, "This is what magic truly is." Tarvan Sui's lips are highlighted, with an intense magical sound effect, indicating she is casting a powerful spell. Gilroshan confirms they have entered Phase 3, observing Gromhart now enveloped in a new, glowing pink aura. Gilroshan observes that both knights and priests are handling themselves well, and everyone seems more alert in Phase 3. Gilroshan explains that in Phase 3, Gromhart loses physical resistance and regeneration, but his attack power inversely increases with his remaining health. Gromhart's gaze narrows, his demon eye locking onto the weakest enemy among them, Gilroshan, who stands below. Gilroshan realizes, with dread, that he, having the lowest level, is now Gromhart's primary target for attack. Gromhart's demon eye is fixed on you, as Gilroshan urgently shouts for everyone to get ready. Gromhart, glowing ominously, declares he will devour one by one with a menacing laugh, his focus solely on Gilroshan. A massive stalactite or piece of debris falls from above, shattered by impact, indicating a powerful, unexpected attack from above. A sound effect indicates a heavy impact or sudden, significant event intensifying the scene. A character, likely Gilroshan, looks up with a shocked expression, questioning if something impossible is actually occurring. Kals and Gilroshan react in shock and confusion, seeing a fallen figure and wondering who would and what is happening. A hooded figure stands triumphantly over the massive, defeated form of Gromhart, who lies prone on the ground. The hooded figure surveys the scene from atop a rock, looking down at the defeated Gromhart, establishing a victorious stance. A masked figure asks if they defeated it, while another expresses joyous disbelief. We really did it. We defeated it." Urgal and another masked figure observe the scene with expressions of triumph and satisfaction after Gromhart's defeat. The hooded figure tells Gilroshan, "You did well," to which Gilroshan responds with a grateful, "Thank you." Gilroshan internally questions how they defeated Gromhart, realizing this method using stalactites should be impossible in this world. Gilroshan looks at the hooded figure, pondering, "What's with him?" indicating his confusion about the figure's actions. Gilroshan directly confronts the hooded figure, demanding to know, "Who are you?" Gilroshan presses the hooded figure for his identity, stating he must, quote, "lay all his cards on the table," believing the figure is a, quote, "player." Gilroshan confirms his suspicion that the hooded figure is a player, to which the figure responds enigmatically, "Do I really need to tell you that?" Gilroshan refuses to answer Urgal until he reveals his identity, concluding that one thing about Urgal has become clear. A sudden "ah" indicates Gilroshan has a clear and abrupt realization about Urgal. Gilroshan looks on as Urgal walks away, his realization about him solidifying. Gilroshan concludes his realization, internally stating, "That bastard is unbelievably petty." The group stands before a large, icy structure, identified as Gromhart's treasure vault, signaling their next objective. Pellet observes that Gromhart's treasure vault is seemingly empty, questioning if there is truly nothing there. The group stands amidst barrels in the barren vault. Pellet, with a knowing smile, sarcastically questions the blue-clad knight, asking if he can truly see nothing, hinting at a hidden secret in the vault. The blue-clad knight realizes Gromhart's treasure is alcohol, recalling his obsession with drinking and merrymaking, much to his exasperation. A magical message echoes through the cave, declaring Gromhart is dead and urging everyone to come out, signaling the end of the monster's reign. The victorious group, including Pellet, stands at the vault entrance as light streams in, while two bound captives on the floor look up in hopeful anticipation. One of the bound men looks up in shock, exclaiming with recognition that he knows the hooded figure, Urgel, standing among the rescuers. The bound man identifies the hooded figure as the god Ulam, as the woman beside him joyfully exclaims they are saved, believing a god has arrived. The hooded figure, Urgel, clarifies he is not God Ulam, but a servant of his church and part of the Imperial Special Task Force, here to save them. The rescued captives look on with bewilderment, questioning the identity of this special task force, unsure of their savior's true nature. An older, bound man sadly recounts telling his son that the Empire would eventually come for them, expressing his deep sorrow. The grieving old man demands to know why the rescuers are only showing up now, his voice filled with a desperate, rhetorical question. The old man clutches his bound hands, his voice breaking as he cries out in anguish. My son is overcome with grief. The enraged old man points, screaming that his son is already inside that monster's belly, and questions the point of their late, proud arrival. Trembling with pain, the old man asks if they can imagine his son suffering, or what it's like for a parent to be helpless as their child is taken. The blue-clad knight, Pellet, stares wide-eyed, visibly shocked and distressed by the raw grief and accusation from the old man's emotional outburst. The old man ponders his tragic fate, questioning his own rescue if he is the only one saved, hinting at deeper despair. Tears stream down the old man's face as he asks in utter despair, "What the hell am I supposed to say to my dead son?" facing unimaginable grief. The old man screams at the rescuers to leave, sparking others' fury who reject their help. A knight suggests falling back, overwhelmed by the rejection. The captain, Pellet, lies on the ground, appearing distressed as a knight asks if he's all right. Pellet remorsefully apologizes. I'm so sorry. Pellet explains the Lokman Mountains monsters only recently became wild, noting it's rare for them to raid villages and abduct all residents, highlighting the unusual threat. Pellet continues, stating that even the Special Task Force wouldn't have detected it easily, implying the monster's actions were beyond normal anticipation or detection. Pellet explains he, quote, to join forces with priests to defeat Gromhart, promising to meet the commander to clear monsters and repair the devastated area. Pellet bows deeply to the villagers, offering the Empire's deepest apologies for their suffering, acknowledging that no words can truly comfort their immense loss. Gilroshan looks on with a shocked expression, visibly surprised by Pellet's unexpected humility and the depth of his apology to the villagers. A villager, along with other survivors, looks up and tentatively asks Pellet, "WWHO, are you?" surprised by his profound apology. Pellet reveals his true identity, Gilroshan Elro de Valt, third prince of the Empire, shocking the villagers with his unexpected noble status. Villagers gasp in shock, murmuring about the third prince's reputation as a drunken troublemaker, and astonishment that a royal would bow to commoners. Villagers, still murmuring, begin to believe the Empire cares due to the prince's presence and shift their blame to Gromhart, the real culprit. The old man comforts another villager, sharing his renewed loss of his wife and a child years ago to famine, fostering shared grief. Teary-eyed, the old man expresses no regrets but acknowledges the living must continue. He plans to gather fun stories to tell his lost loved ones. Live your life in your own way, says the old man to his companion, concluding his shared wisdom and resilience amidst profound loss. Pellet, seen from behind, reflects that there's not much to gain from defeating Gromhart, pondering the true value of their victory. Pellet reveals Gromhart craves humans, not treasure, explaining his raids are merely preparation for a larger, actual event that follows, deepening the mystery. An elixir of strength is shown as Pellet explains the true objective was, quote, the orb within the demon's eye, end quote, making saving people, quote, just an extra objective, end quote. Pellet grapples with an existential crisis, questioning, what kind of world is this? And WHOAMI? Reflecting on the dark truths revealed. The old man respectfully addresses Pellet as Your Highness, gently urging him to raise his head, a sign of newfound respect. The old man tells Pellet he feels human, like me, different from other high nobles, appreciating his genuine empathy shown during their rescue. The old man, with a trembling voice, requests Pellet to remember his son, Holt's name, despite him being just a lowly commoner. The old man desperately pleads with Pellet, asking him, "Could you remember it, please?" His eyes filled with profound sorrow. The old man kneels before Pellet, humbly begging, "Please, Your Highness," his gesture conveying the depth of his hope. Pellet offers a firm, "Don't worry," reassuring the kneeling old man with a promise of remembrance and comfort. Pellet clasps the old man's hand firmly, promising, "I won't forget," sealing his pledge to remember the son's name. A transition panel shows character legs with an ellipsis, setting the stage for the next segment of the unfolding narrative. A commander confronts his lieutenant, questioning if the third prince's change led him to allow elite rebel troops into the forest, a serious breach. The commander expresses confusion over Lieutenant Burns' actions. Burn internally notes it's the commander's first time seeing His Highness in person. "Is there anything else you would like me to read?" The lieutenant silently praises the prince as a future emperor. The commander, enraged by nonsense, orders him to focus on managing and tending to the refugees. The commander walks away, declaring he will confirm things with my own eyes, determined to personally verify the situation with the prince. Kals questions Pellet about hiding. Pellet recalls his instruction for Kals to protect him as a royal guard. Kals internally despairs, feeling useless. "Is there anything else I can read for you?" Pellet, with Tarvan Sui present, asks Kals to pour him warm tea as his shoulders are heavy. Kals immediately apologizes, seemingly for his past actions. Gilroshan thanks Pellet for waiting, then politely complains that the quick chat took quite a while, hinting at an extended discussion. Pellet, surrounded by his companions, declares his intention to change and travel to Orax to achieve this transformation. From above, Pellet and Kals sit at a table. Pellet asks Kals what if the Marquise tries to stop him, prompting Kals to question back. "Is that correct?" Pellet intensely declares to the Marquis, Elon, that if he tries to stop him, he will cut him down and go anyway, showcasing his unwavering determination. Elon stares in disbelief, internally wondering, what insane thing is he saying, visibly shocked by Pellet's bold and aggressive declaration. Elon sighs in frustration, telling Pellet that his, quote, "went too far," clearly dismissing Pellet's serious threat as mere jest. Elon, a 9-star swordmaster and one of only 3 in the Empire, boldly explains his elite status, subtly questioning Pellet's challenge. Surrounded by a purple aura, Elon sternly asks Pellet if he truly believes he could defeat a 9-star swordmaster like him. Elon definitively refuses Pellet's request to go to Orax, declaring he will instead send Pellet back to the capital to suppress rebels in the forest. A dramatic text box announces Gilithin of House Balt's challenge to Elon of House Loit for a noble duel as Pellet faces the Marquis. Pellet provocatively asks Elon if he's afraid and hints at a shoulder injury, while Elon acknowledges the successful provocation. Pellet and Elon stand poised across a long table, their stances indicating a serious confrontation or a pivotal discussion is about to unfold. The focus shifts to Pellet and Elon's legs beneath the table, subtly highlighting the tension and close proximity of the two dueling parties. A glowing text bubble officially confirms that Elon of House Loit accepts the noble duel, setting the stage for their direct confrontation. Pellet and his knights stand outside. The Marquis, Elon, asks Pellet to specify the rules for their upcoming noble duel, signaling its imminent start. Pellet observes Elon's confident demeanor and internalizes that the Marquis believes he has no chance of losing this noble duel. Pellet dictates duel rules to Kals: pure swordsmanship, no mana, no armor, and immediate loss if a sword is dropped, which Elon accepts. A noble duel system event activates, instructing Pellet to defeat your opponent, Elon Roit, and claim victory from the impending fight. Onlookers express disbelief and concern, deeming the third prince insane for challenging the Swordmaster commander to a duel. 2 men, grumbling about royalty, openly mock the prince's duel as disgraceful, attributing his actions to his soft, privileged upbringing. A serious-faced man listens silently to the ongoing criticisms, his unreadable expression reflecting his quiet contemplation of the situation. Elon expresses surprise at Pellet's preparation for the duel, despite unfavorable rules, acknowledging Byrne's prior claim about Pellet's change. Elon voices skepticism about Pellet's change, emphasizing his past actions define him and suspects this duel is merely a facade to improve his reputation. Do you have more text for me to read? Pellet challenges Elon, questioning his talkativeness and insinuating he only achieved Swordmaster status through bluster, provoking Elon's annoyance. Pellet bluntly states he didn't come all the way here to listen to a sermon, expressing his impatience with Elon's words. Enraged Pellet asserts his purpose: to defeat Elon, reach Orax, and lay foundations for his and allies' growth, better than drinking parties. Pellet reflects that altering the public's perception of his degenerate reputation might be a more achievable goal than changing himself. Power elixir used. Strength temporarily increased significantly. Pellet ponders that if his change is absurdly overpowered, public opinion will easily flip, showing his calculated approach to perception. Pellet speculates that if his true power is shown, people might believe his past degenerate persona was merely a pretense. Standing ready, Pellet dismisses Elon's talk, instructing him to "come at me, Marquess," signaling the duel's imminent start. Pellet provocatively questions Elon's qualifications, daring him to "come and confirm it yourself," further escalating the tension before their duel. An enraged Elon fumes, recalling how Pellet ruined his son Cal's future and now dares to speak of qualifications, fueling his fury. Elon's anger boils over Pellet's nonsense about taking cows into enemy territory and claiming it's better than drinking all the time. Elon's eyes blaze with fury as he draws his sword, fully prepared to engage Pellet in the duel. As Elon draws his sword, he threatens Pellet, stating if he's unworthy of cows, he won't reach Orax or leave unharmed. Pellet observes Elon's menacing slow walk, internally wondering if he quote his buttons too hard, showing a hint of concern. Pellet refocuses, realizing he needs to concentrate on the fight as the intense duel with Elon begins, both engaging in rapid swordplay. Pellet narrowly evades an attack, recognizing the deceptive speed of Elon's slow moves, despite being able to see hit points. Pellet finds himself overwhelmed, unable to counterattack, due to the constant need to block Elon's fierce and chaining strikes. An observer notes Elon's overwhelming power, yet is surprised the prince is effectively blocking the commander's powerful strikes in the duel. Elon, mid-assault, taunts Pellet, questioning if his limited offense is all he has, despite his previous bragging. "Is there anything else I can help with?" Pellet struggles to strike Elon's hit points, overwhelmed by the continuous, fierce, and endlessly chaining combos of his opponent's attacks. Pellet, overwhelmed by Elon's ceaseless attacks, cannot activate the special effect of his nomadic quickblade style, leaving him cornered. Pellet, overwhelmed and desperate, internally questions, "What should I do?" as Elon continues his relentless assault. Elon continues his relentless attack, questioning Pellet's thoughts and reminding him of his opponent's identity during the duel. Elon scolds Pellet, asking if he's forgotten who he's facing, as a powerful kick sends Pellet flying back during the duel. Okay, I will read the text back to you. The story is missing for image 47. Story missing for image 48. Okay, I will read the text back to you. I'm ready when you are. Story missing for image 50. Pellet screams, "Erg!" from the powerful kick, showing his pain and struggle during the duel with Elon. Pellet is sent flying backward by Elon's powerful kick, hitting the ground and mentally urging himself to get up. Pellet struggles to rise after being kicked, internally lamenting, "No, I can't," as he remains downed. Elon watches Pellet, his face grim, seemingly preparing to continue his assault on the fallen prince. Pellet is on the ground after Elon's kick, prompting Cal's to rush forward, asking if His Highness is all right. Cal's questions why the Marquis walked away, asking Pellet if he lost, as Pellet wonders why Elon didn't finish him. Cal's explains Pellet hasn't lost, as only dropping a sword means defeat, and Elon paused as an honorable knight. Kals asks Pellet if he can still continue the duel, as Pellet rests on the ground. Pellet, with fierce determination, declares to Kals, "I'm going to win," after being knocked down. Kals, visibly concerned, stares at Pellet, his expression unreadable after Pellet's declaration of intent. Kals's expression darkens, showing deep concern as he looks towards Pellet, preparing to offer advice. Kals states he will trust Pellet's will to win, grabbing Pellet's arm firmly in support. Kals holds Pellet's hand, gripping it tightly, and expresses his hope that Pellet won't lose. Kals approaches Pellet, placing a hand on his shoulder, and says he has just one thing to tell him before he goes. "Is there anything else you would like me to read?" Kals warns Pellet that the Trafalgar sword style is a chain style, and he must break the combo before it starts. Kals advises Pellet to focus solely on his opponent, and reminds him that staying safe is most important. Pellet thanks Kals, turning to face him, and confidently declares, "I'll win and come back." Pellet realizes Kals is right. To win, he must break Elon's combat combo before it gains momentum. Pellet reflects his hit point system is like cheating, but he was too afraid to use it offensively, focusing on defense. Pellet looks at the surrounding onlookers, including Gilroshan of House Valt, as he prepares to continue the duel. Gilroshan shouts encouragement to Pellet, urging him to "hang in there" and "don't lose" to the Marquis. The crowd echoes Gilroshan's support, shouting, "You can do it, Your Highness!" and "show them what you've got." Gilroshan and the others continue to cheer, yelling, "Prince, hang in there!" and "don't lose, Your Highness." Pellet blushes, internally admitting the loud cheering from his supporters is kind of embarrassing despite appreciating it. Pellet holds his sword, reflecting that although he may not truly know this world, he understands it better than anyone. Elon, standing poised, calmly asks Pellet, "Are you ready?" signaling the duel's imminent resumption. Pellet realizes he forgot a basic strategy, acknowledging his nervousness had made him overlook it. Pellet smiles fiercely, stating he's been ready, and resolves to follow through with his strategy against Elon. Pellet stands ready, staring at Elon, as the noble duel is about to recommence amidst the onlookers. Elon considers Pellet's behavior mere bravado, while Pellet understands Elon wields the hidden, nomadic swift swordsmanship. Pellet reveals Elon's Trafalgar sword style counters his quick blade, requiring 3 consecutive hit point strikes to activate his special effect. Pellet concludes that everything until now was preparation. The real fight starts now to take down Elon. Pellet, with intense red eyes, defiantly declares to Elon, "This time, I'll go, Marquis," asserting his determination. Elon observes Pellet's intense red eyes, realizing he's seeing the true resolve of the third prince Gilroshan for the first time. Pellet lunges forward with incredible speed, initiating his offensive against Elon. Pellet swiftly moves towards Elon, kicking off the ground with a burst of speed to engage him. Pellet clashes swords with Elon, the impact creating a red burst of energy as he lands a hit. Elon expertly parries Pellet's attack, pushing him back with a swift counter movement. Elon assesses Pellet's improved attack, but dismisses it as not even close to being a threat to him. Elon effortlessly parries another attack from Pellet, demonstrating his superior skill and speed. Pellet is sent flying upwards, surprised and internally questioning, is he a monster? Due to Elon's overwhelming power. Pellet, airborne, notes his current offensive approach is way better than just defending like before, despite being knocked back. Pellet lands hard on his feet, creating a puff of dust as he braces himself to continue the fight. Pellet narrowly dodges Elon's swift attack, while Elon also ducks, displaying incredible speed and agility. Pellet lands a hit point strike on Elon, indicating a critical hit during the intense exchange. Pellet's eyes glow intensely red as he focuses on his next move after landing a hit. Pellet lands another hit point strike, a red burst confirming 1 stack achieved towards his nomadic quick blade style special effect. Elon observes Pellet, internally wondering if the strike was luck, acknowledging it was beyond what the third prince should be capable of. Elon, with a determined expression, quickly shifts his stance to retaliate, showing he's taking Pellet's strike seriously. Okay, I will read the text back to you. Story missing for image 50. Pellet thinks Elon's speed is surprising, but he urges himself to keep aiming for the hit points, as their swords clash with an intense burst of energy. Pellet's internal monologue expresses satisfaction, realizing he only needs one more hit point stack to activate his special effect. Pellet initiates a powerful lunge, confidently believing his current attack stance leaves Elon no way to parry the incoming blow. Blood splatters as Pellet's blade makes direct contact, landing a clean hit on Elon's arm during their fierce exchange. Elon acknowledges Pellet's precise, perfectly timed strike, recognizing that a slight error would have cost him his arm, demonstrating surprising skill. Elon, looking stern, observes Pellet, internally questioning if the third prince is actually smiling amidst the intense duel. A purring sound effect signifies a system notification, indicating an important game event is about to occur. Elon appears startled, surrounded by shards of red light, as if a barrier or illusion has shattered around him. Gilroshan and an unidentified woman are shown in grayscale, looking shocked and concerned by the unfolding events. In a grayscale flashback, a young Pellet is seen with a hand covering his mouth and another on his head, looking terrified. A younger Pellet appears confused and slightly bewildered, surrounded by blurred figures in another grayscale memory. The duel continues in grayscale as Pellet and Elon clash swords, their intense struggle highlighted by striking visual effects. Pellet revels in his success, as his Nomad Quickblade technique evolves into the S-rank Hawu sword style after fulfilling hidden skill conditions. Pellet's eyes glow red as he realizes his new Hawu sword style is a rare Eastern-style Wuxia skill, a super lucky acquisition. A system window appears, offering Pellet a choice of 3 bonus effects, Sweeping Army, Transplanted Blossom, or Vajra Wall, for his new Hawu sword style. Pellet makes his choice, selecting the Transplanted Blossom effect for his newly acquired Hawu sword style. Elon is surrounded by glowing vine-like energy, as Pellet's chosen Transplanted Blossom effect prepares to turn the opponent's strength against them. Is there anything else you would like me to read? Pellet acknowledges his strength elixir is fading, and that a mere skill evolution won't be enough to defeat Elon Lloyd's power. Pellet thinks about Elon's monstrous strength as a 4-star knight, combined with his heavy greatsword, the Roaring Blade. Pellet considers if he can reflect Elon's immense power, leveraging his temporarily boosted strength from the elixir. Pellet concludes that if he can reflect Elon's power, he can disarm the Swordmaster, as long as Elon isn't using magic. Pellet realizes his elixir's effect is diminishing, and Elon still isn't taking him seriously enough to unleash his full strength. Pellet, with determined red eyes, resolves that he needs to provoke Elon into revealing his full power. A blue system notification indicates that the game or duel is about to resume, signaling the next phase of combat. Pellet unleashes Hawu sword style, Fierce/First Form, rapidly attacking Elon, who parries with a glowing sword. Elon is forcefully pushed back by Pellet's intense attack, creating dynamic visual lines and effects. Pellet charges forward with fierce red eyes, surrounded by dynamic lines, demonstrating his newfound speed and power. The surrounding knights are astonished by Pellet's incredibly fast, powerful sword swings, questioning if he had hidden his true skills. A concerned knight anxiously wonders if their commander, Elon, is actually going to lose the duel against Pellet. One knight furiously reprimands another for doubting Elon, reminding him that the commander, a Special Forces knight, hasn't taken a serious stance yet. The first knight passionately defends their commander, calling him the Empire's Blade, while the second knight tries to calm him down. Pellet lands another hit on Elon, who, slightly surprised, acknowledges Pellet's Eastern sword technique, which counters his Trafalgar style. Elon internally acknowledges Pellet's superior judgment of the prince, recognizing it differs from the general court's view. Elon shifts stance, declaring that regardless of Pellet's changes or rebirth, he cannot take cars to Orax. Pellet frantically realizes Elon is still too calm, his strength potion is expiring, and there's not enough time to force Elon's serious mode. Pellet decides he must provoke Elon Lloyd, even if it's a cheap tactic, to make him fight seriously. Pellet, facing away from the viewer, taunts Elon, questioning if Elon is bothered by Pellet taking cars with him. Elon firmly states Cars is like a brother to him, emphasizing he would never put Cars in danger. Pellet counters, claiming Cars is more special to him having grown up together than to Elon, who just took him in. Pellet intensifies his taunt, asking why Elon opposes cars going to Orax and questioning Elon's right to act as his father. Pellet is surprised by Elon's lack of rage, noting it deviates from the original story where Elon was a principled, patriotic knight. Pellet analyzes Elon's calm reaction, deducing it's due to either being challenged by a dying player or sufficient cars intimacy. Pellet reasons that Elon's intimacy or reaction is boosted only by anything related to cars, despite Pellet's princely status. Pellet is perplexed by Elon's lack of rage, wondering if Elon Lloyd's intimacy with Gilroshan has reached its maximum. Elon sighs in frustration, then questions Pellet's right to speak to him in such a disrespectful manner. Elon is engulfed in dark aura, revealing he anticipated this outcome and had intended to spare Pellet for Cars' sake. Elon, with a grim expression, threatens Pellet. If he loses today, he will not leave alive, Your Highness. A shocked supporting knight yells, "Hey, how dare you!" in response to Elon's ominous threat. Pellet fiercely declares himself a prince, despite Elon's status, then internally wonders if his taunts were too much as he lunges. Elon taunts Pellet, questioning the Emperor's care by asking if Pellet would have been kidnapped if truly valued. Elon, surprised, wonders what kind of movement Pellet just used, hinting at unexpected speed or technique in their duel. Elon observes Pellet's attack, realizing Pellet moved as if predicting Elon's actions, demonstrating uncanny foresight. Elon further reflects on Pellet's smug smile when he got behind him, concluding that Pellet's entire strategy was thoroughly calculated. Pellet, with a satisfied smirk, confidently asks Elon, "So, I won, didn't I?" awaiting Elon's concession. Pellet stands over a kneeling Elon, who has dropped his sword, signifying the duel's end under the game system's watchful eyes. Pellet, a little flustered, presses Elon for a response, admitting that his earlier harsh words were merely a tactic to provoke him. A knight, presumably Elon, or one of his knights, internally acknowledges Pellet was right, realizing Gilroshan has completely changed. Pellet reaches out to a kneeling Elon, who formally acknowledges defeat as the head of House Reut, honoring Pellet's victory and surprising onlookers. A system notification appears, announcing the sudden event Noble Duel has officially ended, marking the duel's conclusion. "You have defeated the opponent, Elron Lloyd." Two concerned knights express shock and disbelief at Elon's defeat, insisting they must redo the duel, claiming something is wrong. An unseen knight angrily declares the no magic condition was illogical, hinting at foul play or an unfair advantage during the duel. A frustrated knight, engulfed in a dark aura, firmly declares, "This match is invalid," challenging the duel's outcome. A hand firmly grips a sword, ready for action, indicating a refusal to accept the duel's outcome. Elon, now standing, calmly explains the duel was fair. Pellet proposed the terms, he agreed, and Elon dropped his sword in defeat. Elon sternly questions his knights, asking if they truly want to be knights who cannot accept their commander's fair defeat. A humbled knight replies, "No, sir, that's not it," signifying their reluctant acceptance of Elon's defeat and the duel's outcome. Pellet internally praises Elon, thinking, "Damn, I couldn't ask for a more reliable ally," indicating respect for Elon's integrity. Pellet reflects, admitting fear Elon might have broken his sword barehanded, and feels Elon finally recognizes him as Car's liege. Pellet smiles, internally agreeing with the overwhelming difference in experience, and recalling his many deaths to Elon in the game world. Pellet turns his back and walks away, bathed in striking visual effects, signaling the end of the immediate confrontation. Pellet's disciple praises his glorious victory while Elon asks Pellet if he's injured, showing concern despite their duel. The red-haired master declares she's closer to becoming Tower Master, while Elon warns Cars about suffering if he stays near Pellet. Elon calls out to Pellet and his companions, politely requesting a moment of His Highness's time. Elon wears a dad smile, admitting he's not used to this, revealing a softer, more paternal side after the duel. Elon reveals he has dispatched Pellet's adjutant, Sir Pellet, to safely retrieve the clerics from the forest. Elon states he won't obstruct Pellet's path as promised, but asks for 3 questions, which Pellet grants. Elon, as Knight Commander, questions Pellet's true intentions for going to Orax, enemy territory despite the ceasefire. Elon recalls a dangerous past covert mission in Orax, warning Pellet that it is an incredibly perilous place. Pellet confidently asserts he knows enough about Orax, surprising Elon, who questions how the prince could be so informed. Pellet describes Orax as a chaotic, dangerous city, swarming with pickpockets, illicit items, and a black market where life and death are traded. A sinister, top-hatted man with a cane grins unsettlingly, visually representing the dangerous elements of Orax. Pellet concedes Orax is still a place people live, while Elon interjects that Pellet will not have princely status there. Pellet dismisses Elon's remark, offering to explain Orax in more detail, reiterating his deep knowledge of the city. Pellet begins detailing Orax's 6 armed factions and 2 churches, but Elon frantically shouts, "Stop!" distressed by the casual mention. Elon reveals that merely uttering the name of the leader of the Revolutionary Army is considered a serious crime in the Empire. Pellet assures Elon his safety is pre-planned, and he's not joining the Revolutionary Army, as he would go alone if that were his goal. Pellet cryptically states that Orax holds a unique opportunity, implying a grand purpose for his dangerous journey. Elon gasps, realizing Orax presents a significant opportunity, a chance so great it could reverse a prince's fortunes. Pellet smiles knowingly, asking Elon if he is referring to the fabled Nest of the Death Dragon. Pellet confirms his intention to command a dragon, revealing the lair of the dead dragon in Orax, a forbidden labyrinth. A glowing blue, pillar-like structure dominates the scene, possibly a magical gateway or a feature of the forbidden labyrinth. Pellet explains that completing a special quest allows one to command a powerful dragon, showcasing the majestic fiery beast. Elon expresses deep shock and concern, repeating, "My goodness, the nest of the death dragon," clearly troubled. Elon urges Pellet to think rationally, stressing the venture's extremely low chance of success and excessive danger. Pellet smiles, noting his illogical victory, reaffirms his chosen path to Orax and the dragon's nest, then asks Elon's second question. Pellet's eyes glow with resolve as Elon asks what report he should submit to the Emperor regarding the situation. Elon internally despairs, realizing he didn't think about that psycho, referring to the Emperor and the difficulty of reporting the truth. A character profile introduces Gilroshan Elro de Valt, the cruel and ruthless 44th Emperor of the Vault Magic Empire. Elon internally describes Gilroshan's father, the Emperor, as the strongest crazy bastard. Pellet suggests reporting that he's become a, quote, prophet. "Is there anything else you would like me to read?" Pellet, flustered, tells Elon he won't answer that, admitting it's an excuse to use secret information fitting his situation. Pellet further instructs Elon to report he went to steal Tears of Dawn, an item possessed by the revolutionary leader. Pellet explains the Tears of Dawn caused a war, ensuring the Emperor would believe it, and he knows this from previous life. Pellet concludes this excuse should suffice for the Emperor, then prompts Elon for his third and final question. Elon, distressed, requests Pellet and companions stay for treatment tonight, realizing Kars's well-being is a key reason. Pellet agrees to stay. Later, Pellet, Kars, and the Master are seen resting and eating around a campfire at night. Elon watches Pellet and his group from a distance with a subtle, approving dad smile. Pellet's companions, including the hooded man and the knight, share a moment of laughter by the campfire. The hooded man, Bimalo, gazes at Pellet with a blushing, intense expression, hinting at strong admiration. Bamalo kneels before Pellet, formally pledging his unwavering loyalty. "I will serve you as my lord." Elon observes Pellet and Bamalo, looking surprised and slightly awkward at Bamalo's sudden display of intense loyalty. Elon internally expresses confusion, wondering why Pellet's companions are acting so oddly. Pellet's companions express nervousness before their departure. Pellet's disciple Kars, however, confirms his readiness to His Highness. Elon bids Pellet a safe journey, expressing his curiosity about Pellet's true nature and stating his trust in him. Pellet confidently accepts. Pellet, with his master, Kars, and a group of hooded figures, begins their journey, marching away to Orax, emphasizing their dangerous path. Pellet, Cars, and the Master look out at a sprawling city under bright sunlight, having arrived at their destination. A massive blue light pillar erupts from the ground, indicating a significant magical event or teleportation, drawing attention. We've arrived, Third Prince. Pellet turns towards the city as a companion formally announces, "This is AURAX," marking their entry into the dangerous city. Pellet stares wide-eyed at Orax, repeating its name in disbelief, confirming their arrival in the notorious city. A system notification appears, announcing the completion of the quest, Escape from Danger, marking a successful initial phase. Pellet realizes this was his first quest in this world, noting its difference from the game, and wonders about the reward. A system notification displays quest rewards: 30 gold coins, beginner equipment, inventory spell, and a D-rank fate card draw ticket. Pellet reacts with an astonished internal exclamation. A guaranteed draw ticket? Pellet internally acknowledges the D-rank card is generous for his current stage and plans to level up for another draw. Pellet reflects on the advantage of a D-rank card, despite not knowing which one he'll get, emphasizing its strategic value. Pellet uses a D-rank Gladiator Slave card and commands, "First up," then instructs someone to arrest everyone on the spot. Is there anything else I can help you with? Pellet, Cars, and the Master look up, asking, "Huh?" and "Titan Special Unit?" surprised by the imposing figures. Pellet reminds Cars and the Master of his strict pre-departure instructions: no reckless actions or combat upon arrival. Pellet emphasizes they are outside Imperial territory, warning that no noble authority will shield them from consequences if they err. Pellet reiterates their perilous location: Orax, a city of lawless rebels crying out for revolution. Pellet is seen feeling tired, while an internal thought acknowledges that choosing not to resist was a wise decision. An unseen voice dismisses Pellet's claim of being Iolam's apostle as a foolish lie. Bamilo, the hooded man, restrains Pellet, who looks annoyed, while the unseen voice mockingly calls Pellet a rogue prince. The unseen high priest addresses Pellet, warning him not to deceive them if he's not truly Iolam's apostle. Pellet stares, surprised by the high priest's appearance. The Master yells, "Bamilo," with an angry expression. The Master angrily shouts at Bamilo, calling him a treacherous wretch, and demands he be suppressed, as Pellet smiles. "You ungrateful BASTARDDDD." A sweeping aerial view of Orax, showcasing its dense architecture and surrounding mountains under a bright sky. A hand closes a book, the sound effect "Chararuk" accompanying the action. A mysterious woman with glasses and purple eyes adjusts her eyewear, looking intensely at something off-panel. The mysterious woman welcomes Prince Gilroshan of the Empire to Orax, revealing her awareness of his identity. Pellet, still bound, sarcastically questions the violent welcome, asking how this repays him after he spared their men. The mysterious woman smirks, questioning Pellet's strategy. Pellet internally deduces Bamilo sent reports, complicating his situation. Pellet realizes they had ample time to plan against him. A character profile reveals the woman is the Endimp, Archbishop of Elam's Church. The character profile continues, describing the Archbishop as a meticulous commander filled with hatred for the Empire for taking her arm. Story missing for image 48. Okay, I will read the text back to you. I'm ready when you are. Story missing for image 50. Pellet stares with intense red eyes, contemplating his next move in the face of the Archbishop's accusations. The Archbishop smiles, as Pellet internally speculates she wants to use him to harm the Empire, sensing her silence is pressure for truth. Pellet brazenly confesses to the Archbishop, "That's right, I impersonated your god," lying to manipulate the situation. The Archbishop stares, acknowledging Pellet as the third prince, stating his confession changes nothing now, her intentions hidden. The Archbishop understands why the Empire's Minister of Internal Affairs is panicking over Pellet's ties to them, adding she'd be scared too. The Archbishop's lip curls, expressing fascination that Pellet knows about the minister's panic, finding his knowledge intriguing. Pellet, smirking, tells the Archbishop he isn't fascinated, reminding her he dueled Marquis Elan Roit and she understands facing a sword master. The Archbishop reveals she won the duel against Elon, suggesting it might have felt different for her, implying her combat prowess. The Archbishop's purple eye glares intensely, reflecting her deep-seated hatred for the Empire. Pellet internally declares, "No need to be afraid. Time to play my cards," preparing his strategy against the Archbishop. Pellet challenges the Archbishop, daring her to kill him but warns she'll regret it, claiming without him, they can't stop the calamity. Pelen ominously warns the Archbishop that in roughly 10 days, an unstoppable catastrophe will strike Orax, causing immense grief and loss of life. The Archbishop, surprised, questions Pellet about the nature of the catastrophe, specifically asking if he's predicting an earthquake. The Archbishop asserts that Orax's grand cathedral and great church can manifest gods, allowing most phenomena to be protected by divine power. Pellet raises an eyebrow, questioning if divine power isn't omnipotent, then suggests they start by untying him as a reasonable first step. A hand closes a book, and the Archbishop's voice agrees that every action should follow a reasonable and proper order. The Archbishop, with a smirk, suddenly commands her guards to take the third prince away to the underground prison. Despite her previous words, Pellet looks on, tied, as the Archbishop turns her back, confirming he's being led away to the underground prison. Two stern-faced men in clerical robes escort the tied Pellet away, confirming his imprisonment is underway. Pellet looks utterly shocked, muttering, "What?" and realizing, with distress, that this isn't how his plan was supposed to go. A heavy prison gate creaks open, marking Pellet's forced entry into the underground dungeon. Kars and the Master excitedly greet Pellet in the dungeon, asking if he's all right and if his talk with the Archbishop went well. Pellet offers a subtle, knowing smile, hinting at his hidden satisfaction despite his imprisonment. Pellet stands before his companions, Kars and the Master, within the prison, preparing to reveal his intentions. Pellet chuckles as Kars and the Master look at him in surprise, wondering why he's laughing. Kars informs Pellet that High Priest Bamelo visited them in prison, bringing food and providing an explanation of Orax's situation. The Master sits and listens intently as Kars recounts Bamelo's explanation of the current situation in Orax. Pellet correctly guesses Bamelo told them about Orax's power struggles, surprising Kars, who asks how he knew. Kars explains that Bamelo said the Kashiri's Grand Cathedral and Titan's Special Unit are keeping the Aeolum Church in check, asking Pellet how he knew. Kars looks distressed as he explains the opposing factions are insisting Pellet be exiled or executed. A diagram shows the Aeolum Church, Tiger Sigil, where they are, and its opponent, the Kashir Church Fox symbol. The diagram continues, illustrating other forces, the Border Guard, City Guard, and the First Legion, all organized rebel forces. The diagram highlights the Titan Special Unit, commanded directly by Orax's supreme leader, completing the faction overview. A full diagram shows the organized rebel forces, with a question mark at the center, indicating their supreme leader is currently absent. Pellet deduces the factions are divided on how to deal with him, then asks Kars if Bamelo said anything else. Kars recounts Bamelo's crude remarks about them being dumb and hit rock bottom, causing the Master to react explosively. "Is there anything else I can read for you?" The Master shouts in outrage, denying she agreed with Bamelo, clarifying she just didn't know how to respond to his insulting words. Kars and the Master look concerned, asking Pellet what's wrong as he laughs, urging him to pull himself together. Pellet clarifies he's not laughing due to their situation, but because of the secret message Bamelo subtly conveyed to him. Pellet asks the Master to lift her foot, revealing the hidden message Bamelo left for him. Pellet reveals Bamelo's message. He's telling Pellet to escape through the underground. Pellet, Kars, and the Master look down into a spiderweb-filled hole, contemplating their escape route. Kars inspects the hole, remarking, it doesn't seem very deep, assessing their escape path. Kars asks if they should go down, but then expresses confusion when the Master looks at him, asking, "Why are you looking at me? What's wrong?" "I'm just a little hesitant. There could be unexpected dangers. It's just a hole." The Master reveals her extreme fear, screaming, "I absolutely hate spiders," when faced with the web-filled escape route. Pellet and Cars look surprised at the Master's revealed fear of spiders, changing their perception of her. Why are you looking at me, Gilroshan? The Master dramatically questions if she, their old teacher, must fall first, while Pellet internally notes how different this is from the game. The Master impatiently urges them to hurry and go, but Pellet tries to stop her, warning her not to step there. Master dramatically falls into the spiderweb-filled hole, causing Pellet to warn her not to step there. Her chibi form angrily questions why Pellet and Cars are looking at her after her fall. Pellet, Cars, and the Master are now in the underground passage. Cars notes their quick escape, stating, "Just as High Priest Bimalo said, it came out quickly," as the Master looks distressed. Pellet, Cars, and the Master emerge from the underground to find Archbishop Hendel and another figure awaiting them. Hendel questions if their, quote, complicated reunion was truly necessary. Archbishop Hendel smirks knowingly, telling Pellet he should already know the reason for their encounter, suggesting a deeper understanding behind their prison break. Pellet admits he knew the reason, stating Bimalo wouldn't risk helping him escape prison just out of fondness, implying a calculated setup for their release. Pellet deduces that the public imprisonment was a necessary quote for other factions, who were closely observing how Archbishop Hendel would handle him. Archbishop Hendel smiles, revealing she orchestrated Pellet's escape as a quest for him, despite internal conflicts. The quest details hint at a deeper alliance forming. Pellet is surprised, noting the quest, "You're the escapee, I'm the Archbishop," typically requires a close relationship with Hendel, questioning how it was activated. Pellet reflects on his actions, acknowledging his hostile nature and the fact that he even impersonated the Archbishop's god, questioning her trust. Pellet questions Archbishop Hendel, asking why she trusts him despite his past hostile actions, including impersonating her god. Archbishop Hendel reveals her Ulam church also detected the impending catastrophe Pellet mentioned, surprising him that they had noticed the same event. Archbishop Hendel reveals her church discovered that someone within their revolutionary army is involved in the conspiracy behind the impending catastrophe. A rat is graphically impaled by a glowing spike, visually representing the discovery of a quote or traitor within their ranks. The pierced rat symbolizes a traitor, confirming the presence of an internal rat involved in the catastrophic conspiracy. Pellet, Cars, and the Master look on as Pellet inquires about how the Archbishop obtained the sensitive information about the internal conspiracy. Archbishop Hendel smirks, cryptically stating, "Isn't it obvious?" regarding her information source, making Pellet's companions find her, quote, "kinda scary." Pellet confirms that the Ulam Church's, quote, "a god of vengeance," provides prophecies but not prevention, meaning their information about the catastrophe is incomplete. High Priest Bamalo reveals the catastrophe targets Orax's children, and a, quote, "monster from their revolutionary army is involved," which is all they know. Hendel and Bamalo explain their efforts to identify the conspirators are hampered, as their revolutionary army status means their every move is watched, making it tricky. Pellet acknowledges the challenge, realizing the unknown conspirators likely know them well. He finds the hidden involvement behind the catastrophe, quote, "interesting." "All right, since you trust me, I'll share what I know too," reciprocating their trust. Pellet reveals the catastrophe is set for about 10 days from now, with the specific target being, quote, "the children at Kashir's cathedral." Pellet reveals the catastrophe, the dying sons, targets all boys aged 17 to 19 during Orax's ritual of the Red Wind at Kashir's cathedral to revive their sect. A purple, ethereal glow fills the panel, representing the heavy atmosphere following the revelation of the catastrophe's gruesome details. Archbishop Hendel and Bamalo confirm Pellet's shocking revelation, realizing everything fits perfectly, and expressing dismay that the Kashiri sect is involved. Curse questions if Pellet's revelation is imaginary, finding it unthinkable that a faction would murder their own country's children for growth, while Master looks dismayed. Pellet explains that after a coming-of-age ceremony, children choose affiliations, but the Kashiri sect uniquely rejects male priests, tying into their motivations. Pellet explains the Kashiri sect only accepts women or eunuch males, making boys unnecessary and seen as potential resources for rival factions. Cars is outraged by the Kashiri sect's actions, calling them lunatic, and questioning how they could betray fellow members of the Revolutionary Army. Archbishop Hendel acknowledges the Kashiri sect's Revolutionary Army affiliation, but asserts that their actions have definitely crossed the line. Archbishop Hendel, despite Pellet's mysterious knowledge of their inner workings, concludes that breaking him out of prison was, quote, the right decision. Archbishop Hendel Fry, as the leader of the Ulam Great Church, prepares to make a formal request to Pellet. Archbishop Hendel humbly asks Prince Gilroshan to help save their children from being sacrificed due to misguided faith, initiating the Savior of the Sons quest. The main quest, Savior of the Sons, is confirmed. Stop the Kashiris Cathedral plan and protect the children, connecting to the prison break quest with specific rewards. Pellet readily agrees to help save the children, but then pauses, hinting at a condition he's about to present to the Archbishop. Pellet, feigning hurt from his earlier capture, brazenly negotiates for 50 extra gold coins as a reward for the mission, surprising the Archbishop. Pellet, smirking, audaciously pressures Archbishop Hendel for the gold coins, using the children's cause as leverage and implying the imperial palace's wealth. Pellet successfully negotiates with the Archbishop, increasing the Savior of the Sons quest reward by 50 gold coins, as confirmed by the game UI. Pellet's successful negotiation earns him the new title of Novice Negotiator, reflecting his clever manipulation of the situation. A panoramic view of the bustling city of Orax is shown, signaling a shift in location or general setting. A manhole cover on the street begins to rattle intensely, signaling movement or something emerging from beneath it. Clunk indicates a heavy object, likely the manhole cover, being moved or struck forcefully. Archbishop Hendel commends Sir Cillian and Sir Sui, her guards who escorted Pellet, expressing concern for their well-being before taking her leave from them. Pellet swiftly approaches High Priest Bamelo, who is emerging from the manhole, asking him to wait a moment before he leaves. High Priest Bamelo, looking surprised, questions Pellet, asking, why? What is it, Third Prince? As Pellet approaches him. Pellet smiles menacingly at Bamelo, declaring he's, quote, feeling a little hurt, implying a demand or consequence for Bamelo's actions. Bamelo, panicked, tries to flee, realizing Pellet might, quote, shake him down. Pellet extends a hand, asking why Bamelo is in a rush, insisting they're not done talking. Is there anything else I can read for you? Bamelo is shocked by Pellet's unexpected speed, exclaiming, heck, how did he? This guy's fast, as Pellet keeps pace with him. Pellet confronts Bamelo, asking why he's pretending not to remember something important, while Bamelo awkwardly tries to dismiss him as, quote, busy. Pellet feigns confusion, quote, I'm sure there was a high priest who promised, close quote, to grant him one wish if he safely escaped the Empire. Bamelo compliments Pellet's debt collecting, saying he could be a loan shark. Pellet, smirking, playfully feigns embarrassment, continuing to press Bamelo for his promised wish. Master, Sir Sui, feels awkward assisting Pellet, while Carr states they are ensuring Bamelo doesn't escape Pellet's relentless demands for his wish. Bamelo tries to explain his limitations. Pellet interjects, questioning if it's unobtainable, then reassures Bamelo that his request is not that kind of divine item. A foot steps down with a clunk sound, indicating a firm stance or arrival, signaling a decisive moment in the ongoing conversation. Pellet reveals his wish, demanding Bamelo, get me the eyeball of Walakas. Bamelo is shocked by the request, asking Pellet to repeat himself. Pellet smiles brightly, repeating his demand for wall.la.cass's eye. Ball! He confidently states it's obtainable and not of the divine realm. Bamelo is stunned, questioning if Pellet knows the eyeball of Walakas belongs to the Revolutionary Army's leader. Pellet casually confirms he knew. The, quote, eyeball of Walakas is revealed as an accessory predicting projectile trajectories. Pellet casually instructs Bamelo to retrieve it from the Revolutionary Army leader's study. Pellet dismisses Bamelo's worries, stating the leader's absence means no problems. Bamelo internally frets, realizing Pellet underestimates the issue. Bamelo vehemently refuses to steal from the leader, reminding Pellet he's a revolutionary. Suddenly, 3 burly men interrupt, confronting Pellet and Bamelo. A new menacing figure, holding a knife, take TSKS at Pellet and Bamelo, declaring a toll on the road and demanding they hand over all their possessions. Pellet internally seethes at being called young guy, realizing the thugs have made a critical error by confronting Bamelo, who is impatient with strangers. The aggressive thug repeatedly demands their possessions, calling Bamelo "old man." Bamelo's expression darkens, indicating his escalating irritation at the insult. A sword is swiftly drawn from its scabbard with a clear, shrying sound, signaling immediate preparation for combat from one of the characters. Pellet stands ready for battle, having drawn his sword. He faces the approaching thugs, indicating his readiness to confront them directly. Pellet, with a determined expression, tells High Priest Bamelo to leave the fight to him and go on ahead, intending to handle the thugs alone. Bamelo tries to assist, but Pellet, angered, shouts that for the children's sake, Bamelo has no time to be fighting, urging him to prioritize their mission. High Priest Bamelo looks on, surprised and confused by Pellet's uncharacteristic, forceful insistence that he step aside and let Pellet handle the thugs. Pellet confidently reasserts he can handle the thugs and tells Bamelo to proceed. He reminds Bamelo to retrieve the promised glasses for Lady Evelyn. Pellet smiles menacingly, leaving Bamelo bewildered, wondering if Pellet was merely joking about the demanding quest for Lady Evelyn's glasses. The main thug demands the old-timer stop, while Pellet smirks, seemingly confident in his ability to handle the situation alone. The big three of the back alleys mock Pellet and Bamelo, boasting their power and calling Bamelo a lucky old geezer for not losing anything yet. The red-haired thug re-emphasizes his point, but the large, bald thug silences him by covering his mouth, indicating an unknown tension among them. Pellet is bewildered, questioning if the big three of the back alleys are non-player characters, indicating his perception of reality as a game. Pellet arrogantly tells the confused thugs they are lucky he spared their lives, while they wonder what he is blabbering about. The red-haired thug sarcastically agrees to be grateful, then reveals Pellet will pay Bamelo's share. The bald thug again silences him with a mouth cover. Kars and Master Sursui arrive on the scene, with Kars immediately expressing concern for Pellet, calling him Your Highness, drawing attention to their presence. Pellet reminds Kars not to call him Your Highness after their prison break. Kars apologizes, then asks if he should deal with the thugs. The red-haired thug, Thompson, is infuriated by the new arrivals, declaring he's, quote, to get real mad, and intensifying the confrontation. Thompson commands his two companions to attack. The thugs charge forward, initiating a chaotic brawl against Pellet's group. Kars charges forward, declaring he will handle the thugs. He unleashes a powerful glowing blue attack called Bear Hunt, striking one of the assailants. A close-up shot highlights the intense blue energy of Kars' powerful attack as he engages the thugs in combat. Pellet is furious that Kars killed a thug, lamenting the loss of potential express gain, prioritizing game mechanics over the immediate danger. Kars continues his brutal assault, striking another thug who cries out in pain, desperately trying to stop Kars' overwhelming power. Pellet shouts at Kars, emphatically ordering him to stop it during the ongoing fight, likely to preserve his own express gains. Kars stops, confused, asking Pellet what's wrong. Pellet defiantly states the thugs are mine to fight, seeking to claim the experience points. Kars draws his sword, asserting his knightly duty. He firmly tells Pellet to step back, stating he cannot allow him to fight the thugs himself. Kars reiterates that it is his duty as Pellet's escort knight to protect him, justifying his actions to keep Pellet out of direct combat. Kars recalls his past words to Pellet, emphasizing that when he offered to share burdens, he was sincere and meant it. Kars reflects on his perceived failures, acknowledging he couldn't prevent Pellet's kidnapping and feels he hasn't been helpful since their reunion. Kars continues his internal monologue, expressing his desire to be more than just a follower, wanting to actively contribute and prove his worth. Pellet observes Kars, realizing Kars' past perceived failures, especially the kidnapping incident, have deeply affected him, making him feel useless. Pellet internally chastises himself, realizing he has been teasing Kars, unaware of the serious impact his past failures had on the knight. Pellet inwardly struggles, pondering how to explain to Kars that he needs to gain experience, points himself to grow stronger, given Kars' sincerity. Kars pledges to be Pellet's sword and walk this path together, urging him back. Pellet is surprised to find the thugs have inexplicably vanished from sight. Is there anything else you would like me to read? The remaining thugs scream, "Run!" and Monster! As they are engulfed in fiery magic by Master Sursui, desperately attempting to escape. Master Sursui stands calmly amidst the spreading flames, asserting her dominance and preventing the terrified thugs from escaping, stating, "Oh no you don't. Is that correct?" Master Sursui smirks, mockingly questioning the fleeing thugs when they gain permission to run away after initiating the fight against them. Master Sursui, surrounded by a magical flame circle, threatens to roast the terrified thugs if they attempt to run any further, asserting her power. Master Sursui maintains her unsettling smirk, telling the terrified thugs to try running if they wish to be roasted, emphasizing her chilling power. Master Sursui argues Gilroshan must learn to protect himself, as even Imperial safe havens failed to protect him in the past. Kars argues he and Sursui are always by Gilroshan's side, and he intends to do his utmost to protect Gilroshan. Master Sursui counters that they are human, the prince's path is dangerous, and there's no guarantee they won't be injured or killed. Kars looks worried, questioning what if Gilroshan can't protect himself, yet agrees there will be future opportunities to help. Master smiles, stating Gilroshan knows he must learn, and allowing him to fight and learn is also a form of loyalty. Kars absorbs Master, also known as Sursui's, words, realizing that letting Gilroshan fight and learn for himself is a form of loyalty. I was short-sighted. The two remaining thugs are subdued, lying on the ground, with game notifications appearing as one begs for his life. A clear game system message box appears, displaying the skill Healing Magic, Warm Light. Bamilo is surrounded by healing light as Kars compliments Pelid on his tough fight against the thugs. Pellet internally acknowledges the tough fight, recognizing he needs to get stronger quickly to survive in this world. Kars asks Pelid what he intends to do with the subdued thugs lying on the ground. The red-haired thug, Thompson, desperately pleads with Pellet to spare his life, promising they'll live quietly. Pellet internally considers that he cannot simply let the thugs go, as they will likely return for revenge. Pellet smirks at Kars, confirming the thugs called him Your Highness, which Kars affirms. A sword or similar object drops to the ground with a distinct tongue sound effect. Pellet, surrounded by a purple aura, grandly declares himself the prince of the back alleys and says he won't show mercy. The bald thug screams, "Kuarg!" as he is brutally struck, while Thompson watches in shock. Kars questions Pellet, asking if killing the thug was necessary, deeming it too cruel. Pellet reveals his sadistic taste skill caused a flashy, harmless bleeding effect, inflicting fear on the thug, who wasn't actually killed. Thompson, utterly terrified, desperately begs Pellet to spare his life, promising to do anything, while Pellet smirks. Pellet's bloodied sword is prominent, as Thompson, terrified, confirms his name to Pellet. Pellet, with a menacing smile, offers Thompson a chance to work under him, which confuses the thug. Pellet clarifies he wants Thompson to guide him to a certain place, further confusing the thug. Pellet reveals his true intent, a tour of the back alleys, urging Thompson to hurry, assuring him the other thug isn't dead. Pellet casually eats a sandwich, asking Thompson where he bought the delicious food. Thompson explains his mother, a great cook, packed the sandwich, surprising Pellet, Kars, and Master. Pellet angrily hits Thompson on the head with his sandwich, scolding him for being a thug, despite having a good mother. Pellet rants about not having a mother to make him delicious food, leaving Kars and Master bewildered. Thompson asks if Pellet doesn't have the Empress, causing Pellet to awkwardly correct himself to the food. Thompson finds them a handful. Thompson points out the black market entrance, then hesitantly asks Pellet if he can leave now. Pellet clarifies he needs Thompson not for guidance, but because big shots like Thompson can invite them into the black market. Pellet casually states that one cannot enter the black market unless invited, hinting at Thompson's role. A diagram shows their new black market titles: Pellet as Master, Kars as Your Majesty, Master, Sursui as Sir, and Thompson as Sir. Pellet angrily throws his half-eaten sandwich at Thompson, ordering him to lead the way into the black market. Thompson fearfully explains only big shots can invite others, and a rookie like him would be beaten up. Pellet dismisses Thompson's concerns, telling him the big three should be enough and to open the door, promising his safety. Thompson tentatively knocks on the large wooden door to the black market. Pellet criticizes Thompson's weak knock, causing Thompson to nervously suggest they return later. Pellet's eyes glow red, signaling his growing impatience with Thompson. Pellet raises a glowing blue fist, preparing to forcefully knock on the door. Pellet's powerful, glowing knock causes Thompson to recoil, making him realize the severe trouble they are now in. A menacing voice from inside the black market door demands, "Who is it? You got a death wish?" Thompson nervously identifies himself as Thompson, new to the West District, and explains he's brought a guest. The black market door opens to reveal a hulking, intimidating man, the boss, stepping out. The boss berates Thompson for brazenly knocking and bringing a guest, questioning his training as a rookie. Pellet confidently interrupts the boss, telling him to attend to his customer if he wants to make money. The boss's eyes widen in surprise at Pellet's audacious and direct address. Pellet, Cars, and Master, Sursui, stand confidently, looking pristine and ready for their business in the black market. Story missing for image 50. The boss questions Thompson's training, calling him a lost cause. Pellet confidently offers 30 gold coins, seemingly as an entrance fee, while Cars and Master observe. Pellet confidently offers 30 gold coins to the imposing boss as an entrance fee, while Thompson looks on nervously, creating tension in the black market's entrance. The boss's eyes widen in surprise, muttering, "Ho-oh," as he reacts to Pellet's audacious offer, hinting at an unexpected turn in their negotiation. Pellet smirks, explaining the 30 gold coins are his entire reward for arriving in Araxis, acknowledging it's not much for the black market, yet a bold sum. Golden coins glisten, noted as a very large entrance fee. The boss, impressed, decides to return the money, acknowledging Pellet and his group as legitimate customers. The boss returns the gold, explaining the black market accepts no entrance fees, only verifying customers worth dealing with, implying Pellet passed the test. The boss laughs heartily, inviting Pellet and his group in. Pellet internally questions if this means he's found a sucker, hinting at his true intentions. "Is there anything else I can read for you?" Pellet's mouth curls into a smirk as he asks the boss for Thompson to be their guide, a surprising request that implicates the former thug. Thompson reacts with utter shock, pulling at his collar, exclaiming, "Huh? Me?" at the unexpected request for him to guide Pellet, showing his distress. The boss places a hand on Thompson's shoulder, gently urging him to guide their new guest. A startled Thompson quickly agrees, complying with the boss's request. A glowing blue circle appears, welcoming Pellet with, "Well then, please come in, sir," signaling their official entry into the black market. The group stands at the dark, mystical entrance as a message welcomes them to the black market, surrounded by ominous, swirling purple magic, setting the mood. Master expresses surprise, exclaiming, "Ooh," at the hidden black market's vastness, realizing a space like this existed secretly behind the seemingly ordinary door. The group navigates the bustling black market, which Cars describes as an anthill, indicating the crowded and vibrant nature of the hidden market. Thompson, looking nervous, tentatively asks Pellet where he should guide them next, within the bustling and unfamiliar confines of the sprawling black market. Pellet's smug smile appears as he confidently declares their destination within the black market is the upper floor, surprising Thompson with his ambition. Pellet points upward, insisting they go to the upper floor. Thompson, a rookie, protests he doesn't know the way, but Pellet dismisses his worries. Master excitedly runs ahead, calling for Pellet to follow. She declares she will find the way, guided by the magic calling to her, showing her enthusiasm. Master, surrounded by sparkling flowers, beams with excitement, declaring the magic is calling her. Her eagerness to find magic items is palpable. Witches, you see, go crazy for magic items, explaining Master's intense excitement. The group rushes through a grand hall filled with caged individuals and creatures, showcasing the illicit goods available for sale within the black market. Cars and Pellet swiftly run through the black market, their movements captured from behind, highlighting their determined rush through the bustling scene. An auctioneer dramatically presents a terrifying twin-head ogre. Master gasps in awe, clearly captivated by the formidable creature being displayed. Glowing eyeballs float around as a voice excitedly shouts, "This way!" indicating Master is being drawn by magical energy through the black market. Master, Cars, and Pellet navigate a peculiar, eye-filled chamber resembling an underwater scene, following Master's magical sense through the mysterious black market. Floating eyeballs continue to appear, but a voice corrects, no, it's the opposite way, indicating a slight misdirection or change in their path. Master's eyes glow red as she intently sniffs out a very luxurious magical aura ahead, confidently guiding the group deeper into the market. Cars calmly advises an agitated Master to calm down, reminding her of their mission to prepare to stop a disaster, while Thompson pants nervously. Is there anything else I can read back for you? The group stands before a grand, imposing door within the black market, while Thompson, visibly exhausted, crouches on the ground behind them. Master's stern expression softens as she considers Cars' words, conceding, "Well, that is true," acknowledging the importance of their mission. Master's face lights up with a delighted blush as Cars mentions a magic item for her. She excitedly asks, what? Is that true, my disciple?" Master furiously shakes Pellet, demanding they go immediately to retrieve my item before anyone else takes it, showcasing her impatient and impulsive nature. Pellet calmly advises Master to remain composed, explaining that agitation could derail their plan and prevent them from acquiring the crucial magic item. Master's eyes glow intensely red as Pellet tells her to calm down, urging her to control her immense magical energy and maintain focus. Master is enveloped in a powerful blue aura labeled Power Manifestation. Pellet looks surprised, realizing the significant extent of her raw magical ability. Master smiles softly, her eyes closed, declaring to Pellet, "I am calm now, my disciple," indicating she has reined in her overwhelming power. A deep purple background with HOO suggests a release of energy or a moment of powerful realization following Master's display of power. Master, Sir Sui, sits regally on a throne, demanding with a menacing glare, "Tell me one more time," asserting her authority and urgency. Cars, clad in his armor, stands resolutely, preparing to relay information to Master, Sir Sui, who is imperiously seated on her throne. Cars states the name Marquis Elon Royd to Master, confirming the information with, "Yes, Your Majesty," indicating a pivotal character reveal. Cars reveals the third prince, His Highness, journeyed to the rebel capital, vowing to reclaim the Tears of Dawn, detailing his significant mission. Master smirks, finding Cars' explanation amusing, and sarcastically questions if the prince's actions truly sound like a sacred duty of the royal family. Cars insists it's the truth. The third prince sought imperial treasures, then he grunts, "Coog," possibly reacting to a sudden external force or revelation. Cars is forced onto one knee, appearing to collapse under the oppressive dark magical energy radiating from Master, Sir Sui, seated powerfully on her throne. Various characters display expressions of distress and pain, likely overwhelmed by the powerful, unseen force emanating from Master, asserting her dominant presence. An overhead shot emphasizes Master, Sir Sui, on her throne, with Cars kneeling humbly before her, showcasing her absolute dominance in the situation. Master, Sir Sui, points a glowing finger at Cars, her eyes burning red, fiercely demanding if he came here to amuse her, ordering an answer. "Is that correct?" A stressed Cars pauses, then insists that what I have told you is all that I know, conveying his complete and honest disclosure of information. Is there anything else I can read for you? Cars remains exhausted and kneeling, while Master, Sir Sui, thoughtfully considers his statement, uttering a contemplative, as she processes the information. Master Sui on her throne, looking thoughtful, permits Cars to rise, signaling the end of his interrogation with a gentle, "Who?" Master Sui reassures Cars that she was not doubting him, as he stands up, facing her from across the royal chamber. Master reveals her true concern, finding it strange that a useless fellow like Gilroshan could have caught the prophet's disease. Master questions Lord Chamberlain about the captain of the Royal Knights, ordering him to enter after confirming his arrival. Cedric Penn, the captain of the Royal Knights, approaches and bows before Master's throne, acknowledging her summons. Master, with an intense gaze, introduces Cedric Penn as the Spear of the Empire, highlighting his important status. Master further describes Cedric Penn as the Emperor's hunting dog, with blind loyalty, revealing his unwavering dedication. Master tasks Duke Penn with surveilling the third prince and bringing him back with the Tears of Dawn, using force if necessary. Master orders Penn to retrieve the third prince's body if he dies, even if limbs are lost, to confirm the prophet's disease. Cedric Penn, with a determined expression, firmly salutes Master, accepting the grim orders with, "Yes, Your Majesty." Master dismisses Kars and Penn, who internally reflects on the Emperor's cruel command concerning his own son. Kars, now outside the throne room, considers his dilemma. He must inform the third prince about the surveillance. Kars stands before a grand door, wondering how he can possibly send a message to the prince from his distant location. Kars ponders the difficulty of conveying a message to the prince, who is currently in the middle of Araxis. Pellet's group, including Thompson, Kars, and Master, enters the luxurious upper floor of the black market, escorted by guards. Master looks around in amazement, exclaiming, "Wow!" as she takes in the opulent and grand sights of the black market's upper floor. The opulent upper floor of the black market is revealed, showcasing grand architecture and displays of sparkling, valuable items like staffs and necklaces. Master beams with excitement, calling the market a whole different world. Pellet reminds her to stay calm, which she agrees to. Pellet points out "Your Highness" from afar, but Kars quickly corrects him, reminding Pellet to address him as "My Lord." "Is there anything else you would like me to read?" Pellet spots the masked figure, quote, illegal, expressing confusion and concern about his unexpected presence and condition. Pellet internally observes, quote, illegal's distressed appearance, likening him comically to a dog that really has to poop. Pellet suggests to Kars that getting involved with illegal would be a hassle, and proposes they pretend not to see him. Thompson asks Pellet if illegal is an acquaintance. Pellet confirms knowing him, but describes their relationship as strangely uncomfortable. Thompson reacts with visible distress as he realizes the masked figure, Gilroshan, is indeed approaching their group. Gilroshan, the masked figure, approaches Pellet's group and awkwardly greets them, asking, "Yeah, you're all here?" Gilroshan greets Pellet, who internally notes Gilroshan's uncharacteristic friendliness and foresees that this encounter will be, quote, a pain. "Is that correct?" Pellet attempts to disengage, giving Gilroshan a curt, "Yeah, illegal. It was good seeing you. We'll be going now." Gilroshan tries to stop Pellet, but Pellet quickly silences him with a magical surge, preventing him from speaking further. Pellet reminds Gilroshan to keep his identity secret, confirming his understanding, causing Gilroshan to concede, "Ah, I understand." Gilroshan, undeterred, proposes a joint venture to Pellet's group, buying multiple items together for a lower price. Gilroshan appeals to their past, reminding Pellet that they are, quote, comrades who faced the brink of death together to entice a deal. Pellet internally observes Gilroshan's uncharacteristic behavior, suspecting he is acting out of character and must be up to something. Pellet attempts to casually dismiss Gilroshan again with a dismissive, "See you around," trying to end the conversation. Gilroshan leans in close to Pellet, confiding that he came to the black market specifically to buy the Shield of Balance. Pellet confirms he also seeks the Shield of Balance, noting it's a popular item among players. Gilroshan explains the upper floor is the best place for the Shield of Balance, but Pellet senses there's more to his intentions. Gilroshan sheepishly confesses to Pellet that he is short on money, surprising Pellet. Pellet laughs, mocking Gilroshan for his lack of funds, then feigns not hearing him, further embarrassing Gilroshan. Gilroshan, blushing with embarrassment, shouts that he is short on money, clearly agitated by Pellet's teasing. Pellet tells Gilroshan to stop acting cute and demands to know exactly how much money he currently possesses. Pellet demands all of Gilroshan's money, surprising Kars and Thompson, with Thompson internally calling Pellet the Prince of the Back Alleys. "Is there anything else you would like me to read?" Gilroshan agrees to Pellet's demand, asking if he only needs to secure the Shield of Balance for him. As money glows, Pellet transfers 92 gold coins into his inventory, promising Gilroshan he keeps his word, while Gilroshan eyes him warily. Pellet dismisses Gilroshan's glare, stating the money exchange is nothing much, while Gilroshan remains suspicious. Pellet offers a deal. He will return the money or keep it if Gilroshan reveals his real identity after they exit the market. Gilroshan agrees to Pellet's deal with a handshake, but then asks Pellet about Master's involvement in his group. Pellet looks surprised, asking, "Huh?" as Gilroshan inquires about Master, implying a new unexpected twist in their conversation.